Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Another Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the Laggy Gamer on YouTube, but just call me Steven, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Dustin Christ. What is going on, man? It's been a while.
Hey, yeah, you did a good job. Things are going well. How are you?
I'm doing good. That just threw me way off. It makes me think like I'm in a test. But I'm doing good, other than slight back pain for the past month. I'm doing pretty good, man.
We're getting old.
Yes, we are. We don't get younger as we grow. We get older, so.
Yeah. And, Steven, I've been thinking about this, and I was going to talk to you about it before we started recording, but, now let's get it on the record. We need to decide to do these episodes and give people a little bit more of a a little bit more of an announcement if we're planning on having some people on.
We probably should, yeah. It's
Hey, by the
trying to
way.
get a third person on here has been more trouble than I don't know. I didn't think it would be this hard, and we always kind of get a guest to get on here.
Yeah.
Something always happens.
Yeah.
And also, I'm thinking we might need to do this more often than once a month already.
I
I
think
think
so. Yeah. I think so too,
it's
because it's been too long. Like, it feels like we
uh,
haven't done this for like a year.
yeah, and I don't think we've hit our month mark yet. I don't know when we put the first episode on,
Three
but it
weeks.
does feel like it's been a long time since we even got to record anything. And I know we wanted to like a week or two ago, but then I had some other problems where I was locked up for that night of recording, so I could not do a podcast.
Yeah.
But we're here today, and we're going to get this one knocked out. And it's just me and Dustin today. You guys, we had someone who's going to come on with us. That person got sick and wasn't able to. And Undead Space Monkey, he was willing to come in and hop on the boat at last minute notice today for us. But he happened to be out of town and wasn't going to be able to talk with us because the internet where he's at is not really good. So, but big shout out for him for even, he said he would have stepped up to the plate if he was able to, but he just wasn't. But we're still appreciative of you.
Eventually, Steven and I are going to get our crap together, and we're going to get a routine down here and sort of a schedule, and maybe tell people maybe a week in advance, like, hey, we're going to record this night. You want to be on, and that way they'll have some time to
Yeah,
plan accordingly.
if they turn us down, we'll just ban them forever and not
Yeah.
talk to them ever again.
Nothing,
So,
nothing
no.
solves a problem like a good permaban.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, a lot has happened in the past month. So much we could talk about. We've tried to ramble on forever. But what do you want to talk about first, man?
Well, I'll tell you what. This is something I think we should discuss because I've had a lot of people ask me about it. And to be
Okay.
honest with you, I didn't really want to make a video on it, but I figured it to be something better to discuss on a podcast. And that is a new console that's coming out called the Ouya. And
Ooh, yeah.
I think that the name of it is really funny. And what I want is when you power it on, you hit the power button and it just goes, "Oh yeah."
That'd be awesome.
I think it'd be. I mean, not even like on the TV. Just there's a speaker in the machine that does that. That can't be too hard to do.
It
But
can't. Well, 360's already doing it. I'm so jealous of those new ones that come out that make the little noises when you turn them on and off.
the R2D2
Like Gears of War one.
Oh,
That stuff is awesome. I think they got the Halo one that does that, makes some sound effects when you turn it on.
yeah. But anyway, this thing went through Kickstarter, and what it is a Android-based console that's only going to cost $99. And essentially, what it's going to be is just like if you want to play like from what I understand, is like if you want to play your iPhone, you're not your iPhone, but the Android store-based games on a television, you can do that. There's also a bunch of other developers, like Square Enix has jumped on board with it, and
Oh yeah.
they're opening it up to hackers, which on the one hand is really cool that the company's okay with people going in and making the console their own, but on the other hand, it really makes me wonder about its security, like if it's going to be really susceptible to break-ins and things like that. But
That is a scary thing, yeah, especially because you're having to buy stuff probably with credit card information, and to have something just open to hackers where they can just come in and possibly take your stuff. That is pretty scary to think about.
Yeah, and I would say that, like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if it had the security of a name like Microsoft or Sony on it? But then, Sony got hacked there, what was it, over the summer? And like
Yeah, I
PSN was
think
down.
last summer,
Yeah,
yeah.
last summer PSN was down for the entire summer.
It
So,
was pretty bad. I feel sorry for those Sony fans back then.
yeah. But I've read into this thing as much as I can. I watched a Kickstarter video. The Kickstarter video really kind of made me a little excited for it.
Oh
But then as
yeah.
soon as the video was oh yeah, uh, and then as soon as as soon as the video was over, like my excitement level dropped back down again, and I was like, I don't know. It's just there's something about it. Like it really reminds me of like OnLive. And when OnLive came out, everyone was talking about, oh, OnLive is going to be the wave of the future. We're going to get rid of consoles. It's going to be streaming. It's going to be great. And who talks about OnLive now? You know what I mean? Like it just
Pretty much no one. I don't
yeah.
think anyone does.
Like
We're talking about it right now, though. So there you go, on
well,
live.
yeah. But we're not talking very nicely about it. I'm sure there's people out there that really like
Exactly.
it, but you know, I was just thinking about this thing and like, because I just got my iPad not too long ago, and I've been playing like some iPad games on it, and they're pretty much designed for that touchscreen. Like, I wouldn't want to play Angry Birds on with a controller. It's like it's not really suitable for a controller, and I just don't understand really the point. Maybe if it moves beyond like the Android store and like developers are making games exclusively for it, that would be cool. But
Oh, that's definitely what's happening. I think
yeah,
didn't I think Epic already said they're
are
down for that thing for making games for it.
now what would be really awesome. See, that's the thing about it. I don't understand like how are you going to get these games on there? Is it just going to be exclusively through the Android store?
Well, this is what I've seen. Just 'cause it's an Android based device doesn't mean I guess it's going by Android store.
Okay.
I think that's where there's a little mix up. It's just using hardware that's based on it's using the operating system of an Android. It doesn't mean it's an Android store or whatever. So I
Okay.
think what you're gonna get is I hear it's actually quite powerful. You're gonna get pretty decent games graphically, and I don't think they're gonna be like streaming like the OnLive. I think that's what kind of scared me is with OnLive is it's just streaming based.
Hmm.
I think you're going to be actually able to download these games and play them, and they're going to be in HD, of course. But the other thing you're talking about Angry Birds, and it's going to have a touchpad on the controller though. So there's kind of your middle ground for that. You're going to have a touchpad built into that controller to kind of assist you
Okay.
so you can feel comfortable with it. And Microsoft's coming out with this glass thing. Who says the Ouya can't say, "Hey, you can use your cell phone to play this game"? Maybe that could be something.
Yeah,
You never
I
know.
guess I saw a much earlier mock-up of the controller because I don't remember seeing a touchscreen on it.
Yeah, it looked like with the controller in that video. I was kind of baffled too. Like, where's a touchscreen gonna fit on that little controller? It's like the
Yeah,
size of an Xbox controller. It kind of mirrors it, but they say it's gonna have a touchpad. That's one of their key features is a touchpad on the controller.
yeah.
So, but I think we're gonna see. I'm super excited about it, and I don't know why, because there's a lot of people out there. What's that digital distribution thing going around? Where everyone is just flicking off digital distribution. Is that for being against digital games or DLC? What is that all about?
I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
It was this big thing going on. I think Monkey actually did a video of it too, where you're just giving a
Oh,
finger to digital distribution.
yeah,
And I'm kind of half and half on that because yeah, I don't really like DLC when they do it wrong by having it on the disc already, but
yeah,
I'm really appreciative of digital content like games we're getting that we wouldn't get otherwise unless it was coming over here digitally.
yeah.
And that's the whole concept of this console is you're just going to have digital games. How is that going to affect the gaming market? But I'm just excited about it because this could bring us games we might have never gotten, and it opens the door for indie developers. And I'm really getting into indie games these days, like your favorite one, To the Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be on the console, playing on your big, huge, high def TV. Who knows?
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
kind of excited about that stuff.
Yeah. I guess it's just we're still in kind of a wait and see moment. I like how we have both have dogs going on in the background.
Yes, mine's now too. And you might hear Dustin's dog too, but
Yeah.
mine's barking because she's talking.
Ah. But I guess I guess I'm just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, my excitement for it kind of does like an ebb and flow. Like sometimes I'm excited for it because I think, well, maybe it'll do this. But then I start thinking, well, what if it doesn't? I just have this sneaking suspicion that I'm gonna buy it, and then I'm just gonna like use it to play like Super Nintendo and NES emulators and things like that.
Emulator.
Yeah, and like I just maybe I don't know. I guess like now that I have the iPad and I see sort of like some of the games that are on iOS, maybe that's the way. This is the way it's going to go. Maybe Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, um, maybe they won't survive into the next generation, and systems like the Ouya and another system that I kind of want to talk about after we get done talking about this. Um, Maybe those will take over, and we won't have like the traditional consoles anymore.
Well,
I don't
so
know.
like you were saying, you have an iPad now. Do you feel like you would need something like the Ouya if they're kind of the same thing, or
If it's the same, like, okay, if it's the same games, so like that,
yeah?
no, I would just use the iPad. Because I tell you what I have on the iPad are two RPGs and a shmup, and both RPGs control really well with the digital D-pad. Now I know there's some games like Secret of Mana that don't really work well with that digital D-pad,
Hmm.
but both Final Fantasy and Ash, they both work really well with it. The shmup that I have is called Phoenix HD, and after playing shmups with control sticks and everything, I'm telling you, it's so much better to play with a touchscreen. It's an amazing thing to just
Really, for a shmup?
yeah, well,
Wow.
specifically like these bullet hell shooters, because the bullet hell shooters are more about dodging the bullets than it really is
Hmm.
about like taking out the enemies. Because usually the enemies are so big that it doesn't really matter where you're at on the screen. You're constantly hitting the enemies. It's more about dodging the bullets. And I feel like with Phoenix, which I haven't really looked into a lot of the other games because I just haven't looked into it yet. But I feel like with these bullet hell shooters, like the touchscreen is the way to go with controls, because I'm just doing these really precise movements through all these bullets, and like with Mushihime-sama on the 360, I just can't do that with that stick. I just feel like I'm overcorrecting. So
Okay. Well, from what I saw with, I'm surprised you said touchscreen worked better because I really want to get an iPad now for some reason. I was totally against ever wanting to get one when I first heard about them. And then thinking of the new Final Fantasy game Dimensions on that big, beautiful screen is just so tempting. And then I just saw Classic Game Room. They did a review of Shoot 'em Up. Are you subscribed to him, Classic Game Room? I watch them a lot.
you know what? I was subscribed to him for a long time, and I really do enjoy Mark. But
Yeah.
what I don't enjoy is when all the other people make videos, and it's like my video inbox was just flooded with all these classic game room videos that I didn't care about. Like I just want Mark
Well,
talking.
yeah, I'm just subscribed to the channel that does his reviews, and
Yeah.
I'm just getting his videos in. And he did one on Blazing Star, and I guess that was a game for Neo Geo maybe back in the day,
Hmm.
and the NVS console. And I just want to play that game so bad now on an iPad. And he had the arcade stick attached to his iPad, and it just looked like so much fun.
Yeah.
And I was in a shooter mood, and I have no shooters, and I was on the Vita store trying to find a shooter to buy to download, and I had nothing. And then I realized, like, man, the iPad here is full of awesome shooters. So, and I just got in a big shooter kick, and I just really want to get one now.
Yeah. I mean,
Really
I was
like
kind of.
an iPad.
What'd you say that was? Blazing what?
Blazing Star.
I'll do a search for it now. Search has no results. Oh, because I'm purchased. Um, I was really skeptical about getting one, and then once I got it, because I'm not really the type of person. I don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of my PC.
Hmm.
I just want something that I can, pick up and use. And for that purpose, I think the iPad is great. Now, a lot of people out there, they're really technical. They want to get in, they want to tweak that PC, and that's where their heart lies. But for me, I'm really
Yeah.
starting to realize that aside from all the bad things that Apple does, I really like the product. So
Okay. And that's the thing with this Ouya is if they're going to give me the same quality games but on a $400 cheaper device,
oh yeah.
then I'm all in for it. I mean, I'm game. I'm sold on it. I'm probably going to. I think they're going to release next spring, like that early. And if they're going to be in stores or if it's just to the people who bought them on Kickstarter first, I don't know. But I'm really excited for it. I think, and I'm going to go ahead and I can't wait till it gets closer and we start figuring out more about it see what it's all about and see
Yeah.
what it can actually pump out and give us. If it's, I'm not a big graphics hound, but I mean, if it can give us some good looking stuff, then I'm down for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. See, I'm the type of person like I look at graphics like with the 360 and the PS3, and I'm just not impressed with it anymore. But like old school graphics, I'm still super impressed with that stuff. And
Ooh, I'm gonna stir the pot then when we start talking about my Final Fantasy VI impressions. Ha ha ha.
oh, you don't like it?
I'm not gonna say anything yet. When we get
Oh
into it,
no.
I'm gonna hold you in temptation.
Oh God. All right. But so yeah, the Ouya, I'm kind of excited for it because it's right now to me it's nothing but potential.
Yeah,
You know, when it starts getting a little bit more concrete, then my interest might wane a little bit. But for right now, I'm excited for its potential, but I'm still skeptical because it is nothing but potential.
pretty much. And she did a good job selling that thing in that video.
Oh
So
yeah,
kudos
oh
to
yeah.
her.
That video made me super excited, but then once I was over, the propaganda was done. I started thinking about it, and I was like, I really don't know what this thing's going to do.
Exactly. Which, speaking of not knowing anything,
Yeah.
that's a segue into the next console that could be coming
The
out.
next console that could be coming out. Apparently, there are rumors out there that Valve is going to be making some kind of Steam machine, which makes sense. Steam is,
Hmm.
but on the other hand, Steam is it's so widespread. Like I don't understand why they make a console for it when it's just a PC program. But Valve likes money, and if you have to buy a console to play stuff on Steam, there's a lot of people out there that love Steam, and they will do it. So again, not much information out there about this because it's really just like Valve's really just kind of hiring people to have kind of a hardware background, and they're keeping kind of mum on the subject, like, oh, no, 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 we're not making a console, we're not making,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But that would be a really see. This is it's such a weird time because I really feel like Nintendo will always make a console. The moment that Nintendo stops making consoles is the moment that Nintendo stops in the game industry
Yeah,
altogether.
I mean, that's all they got. So if they don't make, that's Nintendo. So if they
Yeah,
don't make a game, they're done.
I don't see them going the way of Sega and putting Mario on like the Xbox 360. I can't see
Ooh,
that.
how weird would that be?
Well, how weird was it to play
Ooh,
Sonic on all the other stuff? Not weird to
true.
the not weird to the kids of today, but back when Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis, to think of Sonic being on anything other than a Sega console is just my brain explodes. But I just
Here's what
hmm,
here's what I could do with Valve. If I was running a company like Valve and I have a PC program Steam where people are being able to download these games onto their PCs or Macs to play, I would think of a model. If it's going to be a console, the one problem with players is having to upgrade your console
yeah,
so you can play the newest best game. Now picture Valve thinking of, okay, we're going to make this simple console. It'll be able to play all the games that come out, and when future stuff comes out, you'll be able to order. We'll tell you what you need. The simple processor, here you go. You can buy it from us. Here's your new processor. Replace it yourself. Really easy to change out. Because I know when I was into building and customizing my PC, I wasn't really smart on like, well, what processor should I match with what motherboard and what video card? Like they could make a dumbed down version like, hey, if you want to upgrade it, then bam, buy this processor for the newest games and just make it real simple to take it apart. Therefore, you'll be able to upgrade it, and they could just get all proper from stuff like that.
yeah.
I don't know. That's like a business model I would follow.
Yeah, well, and if that's the case, then I would definitely buy one because that's the exact reason why I don't play PC games. Is it's just I'm not the type of person to get inside of a machine and mess around with the nuts and bolts. I don't care that much. And
Hmm.
like it's like I try to play The Witcher on my PC, and I had to load on some pretty low settings, but I got it to work. But if I had like a Steam machine that I could max out everything on and it'd be fine, then I would definitely do that because there's a lot of PC games out there that I feel like kind of remiss in not playing. And if I had that opportunity, like with that, or maybe even the Ouya, I don't know how much processing power that
Yeah.
thing's going to have. But that's where my excitement for those two types of machines come from. Is that there's a lot of games out there that people say are great that I really feel like I'm missing out on because I've always been a console kid, and the PC environment just kind of I'm not scared of it, but it's just like it's so overwhelming that I just don't care, you know?
And if Valve did it, I mean, what kind of impact do you think that would be? Because that could be
That's a
pretty
game.
much the only console you need. You wouldn't
Yeah,
need any others,
if Valve,
except Nintendo, of
well,
course. You'd
yeah,
want a Nintendo.
I will always buy a Nintendo console, but
Yeah.
yeah, if Valve releases a Steam machine, goodbye, goodbye Microsoft, goodbye Sony. Which
I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, you could probably get all the third party on this Valve, and
yeah,
even like Mass Effect and everything was coming over to it. So I mean, before I think Mass Effect came to PC before it went to PS3.
yeah,
I'm not too sure, but I think Valve it would be a hot item, and that would be the go-to box. And I think they'd hit big time if they did something like that. They'd score big.
yeah, it'd be a complete game changer in the industry. So I mean, they have to do it right though. That's the thing.
You'd have to.
Yeah,
I
but
would do it with a keyboard. Talk to Activision, say, "Hey, put World of Warcraft on this thing." Man, accounts would be blowing up. Yeah, it'd be
done.
insane. People
Yeah,
playing WoW on their flat screens, and
yeah, because that'd be
maybe
there's a
Valve will listen to this and be like, "That's a good idea."
because I was thinking about that while I was playing Ease Origin on my PC. I was like, man, this is great, but I would love to play this on my big screen TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I mean,
Uh,
there are ways of doing that, of course, I know, but like I said, I don't care. I don't care that much. But if I had a console that makes it easy, then I'll do it.
it's exciting stuff to like just to be able to just think about these things because the next generation is right around the corner, and maybe that's when Valve might be thinking about releasing something like that. When maybe it's going to be after the generation gets started a little bit because it seems like they're just now peering into it. Maybe don't know, but
Hmm.
it's just crazy to think about the next generation period. How I think it's just going to be a whole lot different from what we're seeing this generation, not just graphically, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're at the digital age yet. But man, it seems like with that Ouya, it's coming quick. And if
Yeah.
Valve does something, it just seems like it's going to be here before we know it. And that's going to be kind of disheartening. But I'm kind of getting into the digital stuff, which I'll talk about when we talk about games we've been playing recently.
Yeah.
But it's a sad time, but still exciting.
Yeah. I really think like the next generation, I don't know, because on the one hand, like if it's going to be we're at a moment of big change in the industry, huge change in the industry, and I can honestly see myself like this is kind of a scary thing to say, but if the industry goes a certain way that I have a feeling it's going to go, I can see myself walking away from modern games and just focusing exclusively on retro.
Right now, I'd have no problem with doing that because there's so many old retro games still to play. I mean,
Yeah.
there's thousands of games out there to play and try. And the only problem is I've noticed like the past month, it's getting tougher and tougher to find these games, especially
Yeah.
out in the wild, like flea markets. And which could bring me to another topic we're going to talk about how to buy and get your retro games of a store that could be selling them, but it's just
Yeah.
getting so tough to
Yeah.
find them out there, and they're going to get expensive, I think, like crazy,
Yeah.
especially when everything goes digital. Unless they start remaking them digitally, it's
Well,
it's going to be hard to find these
that's
things.
something else as well. Like stores that resell games, like big stores like GameStop, and even some of the smaller like retro stores are getting rid of game cases. Like I just listened to an episode of the All Gen Gamers today, and they were talking about this. So like the games that you have in like the case, those are going to skyrocket in value.
Oh, yeah, you can't go to a GameStop anymore and get a DS game with a case unless you buy it new. Any used DS game, I mean, is there's no case, it's gone.
Hey Steven,
It's
hey Steven,
yeah,
you need to fly up to my city. You can still do that here.
you can. Well,
Oh yeah,
not in my area, man. They wiped them clean.
they have tons. I mean, I can still get stuff in the case. So if you need something
Oh,
in the
that's
case,
awesome.
yeah, if you need something in the case, let me know.
Anyone who's listening to this, if you can find
Oh
a
Jesus Christ!
My World My Way, I need a My World
Well,
My Way game
hey,
case.
why do you want that? Because it's rare.
I have it, like I own it.
Oh, you own it. Okay.
I had some GameStop credit and I couldn't find anything, and it was sitting in there for $6.99. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. It wasn't too bad of a game.
Really? Really?
It was okay,
Okay.
but
I guess I
that's one of my gaming history pieces.
yeah, I guess I did see Nick's video where he said it was a pretty good game.
He said it wasn't too bad, but so I got it, and if I get something, I'm not afraid to sell something to get something I really want. So
Yeah.
I'll sell it in a heartbeat if there's something I really want.
So, anyway,
But
you
anyways,
did that little segue there. Are you ready to move on to the next topic?
let me see, Valve. I love you so much. Okay, we can move on. Um, Next topic would
Okay.
be GameStop trying to get into the retro market by selling retro games. Don't
Now,
know when it's gonna happen, or what do you think, man?
this is still just a rumor. And actually, I was just in GameStop today, pre-ordering Adventure Time for the 3DS because I love Adventure Time. Um,
What are you, 7? No,
dude,
I'm just playing.
dude, watch the show. Like, it's one of those shows that it looks like it's for kids, but really it's for adults that are still kids at heart. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
The
Like they're
game look. I want to read the Nintendo Power article on it because it seemed interesting.
yeah, like that. Like you watch that show and you see some of the jokes that they're making as an adult, and you're like, oh god, they should. Oh god, why are they doing that? But it's a great show, and the game's gonna be amazing. But I was talking to him about it. And I was like, so have you guys heard that GameStop might be starting to sell retro games? And they're like, oh god. I hope so. Thank God. You know, because I guess so many people come into that GameStop and in Lancaster, Ohio, you know, and bring in like Super Nintendo games and try to trade them in and stuff like that. And they're like, we can't take these. We have to, send them off to somewhere else. But in this, as we said with the Ouya and the supposed Steam machine, um, things are going to a more digital direction. So brick and mortar stores like GameStop are going to have to figure out something to do in order to keep their stores open. And it just seems
Yeah,
like
to keep getting off it.
yeah, it just seems like retro is like the easiest way to go. Now, I don't know how they're going to do this because I don't know about you guys and there are other parts of the country, other parts of the world. My GameStop store, every GameStop store I've been in has been amazingly small. Like,
Yeah, they're yeah, you're right.
like
I've never seen a huge GameStop.
yeah. So I don't know where they're going to put this retro stuff, how much retro stuff they're going to have, how far they're going to go back. I mean, it seems like every retro store you go into has uh, a disproportionate amount of Atari 2600 games that are
Hmm.
all very dirty and grimy looking. But
Which makes me think they're probably not going to go. I think they're just going to probably stick with Nintendo NES, just like the mainstream stuff. A lot of people know. I think Atari might be too dated. They're not going to mess with
yeah,
that. But I'm hoping for NES, SNES, Genesis, and PS1. Like, give me some PS1 stuff back.
yeah, no kidding. I mean, there's so much excitement when you go into like a store and you see like a stack of PS1 games,
Oh
even though
yeah.
mostly it's all Madden and game days and all that kind of stuff. But you're still like, oh, PS1 games, I gotta look. But I, on the one hand, I'd be really excited about this, but on the other hand, I know what's going to happen. You're going to take in like, let's just say you have an amazing, Super Nintendo collection. You take in like, well, we were just talking about Final Fantasy VI. Take in Final Fantasy VI, or as it's on the Super Nintendo 3, take that in to trade it in. They're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna give you $5 for this, and then they're gonna put it on the shelf for like 49.
Yeah, exactly. But I think what and my GameStop around here was, well, I guess it's the same price as everywhere. That if they have a PS2 game in or a game that's hard to find that goes for pretty good value online, it's always cheaper at GameStop. I could get it cheaper there.
That's
So hopefully they won't be too high on their prices. Maybe they'll be pretty good on
yeah.
prices for some of these games.
I guess that's true because I don't know how much like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is online right now, but I got it for 17 at GameStop. But it seems like
I,
those
yeah.
SMT games go for a lot online.
Yeah, I think complete online, it's over 20 at least to get it. So, I mean, you're always saving, like I said, that My World, My Way. I got it for $6, and I think that's like 30 something online, even loose.
Yeah.
So, if they have a game, you can get a good deal on it. So,
Well, not some games though, because
not some, yeah, you're right.
I always see copies of, and this one kind of goes out to Movie Star Kitten. I always see copies of Super Princess Peach or whatever that's called. What is it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I always see copies of that, and I'm always like, hmm, and it's always like $34.99, and I'm like, God, I don't want to spend that much money on it, you know?
It's still 34. Man,
Oh
Nintendo
yeah.
just never goes down over at
Well,
that store.
that's
They keep it up
used.
there.
That's
Yeah,
used.
that's used prices. Yeah,
Which I mean, I think that game had a low print run anyway. But yeah, like but all the like I want to get more of those Mario and Luigi RPGs, and even those are still really
yeah,
high in
those are
price.
still up there in price. I went ahead and caved in and got Bowser's Inside Story because I'm like, man, it's just never gonna go down.
Yeah.
And then someone was selling it on Craigslist for like $5 a couple days after. But no worries, I got my
Eh,
copy.
yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo just their games hold their value pretty good. Well, like places like GameStop, they just seem to always hold their value. If it's a first party Nintendo game, don't count on it coming down in price anytime soon. I think Donkey Kong Country still sells for $30 new at Best Buy and at GameStop. So it's been out forever.
You know, that reminded me. I wanted to check out something. I wanted to see if Xenoblade had a price drop. I forgot to look at that.
I'd be curious to see if it does too. I heard some stuff is some people saying Last Story's already going up in price for
Oh, I
people
get
trying
yeah.
to get that.
Oh yeah, I guess online like the prices are already starting to go up.
That's amazing. You just have an idea of a game like that, just the box it came in,
Oh
the
yeah.
artwork, and just how everything was done. You just kind of figured
I
this is gonna
really
hold.
I really wish I would have
So
bought a second one and kept it sealed, but I
me
didn't.
too. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're selling retro games, I mean, that would make it fun to really go back into a GameStop
Yeah.
again. For you're not just going in for new generation, but you're gonna want to go in there and walk around, check out the old games. Because I know the only hobby shop here that sells retro games here has them overpriced like crazy,
Yeah.
and it's insane to want to even buy something there. I think they sell what's example Secret of Mana for the SNES. They're asking for just the cart, $125.
Whoa.
Yeah. Final Fantasy for SNES. Was it two, three? That's number six. Is it two?
3 is number 6.
Okay, three. That was priced at 95 for just the cart, which I guess could be right. I'm not sure what that goes for loose,
No,
but
that should be no more than like 40, 45.
yeah, they have it at 95 at this place.
Yeah. Wow.
So they're pretty ridiculous. And
Yeah.
then sometimes they let certain things slip through. But I mean, so I'm all for if they're gonna do it, go for it. GameStop, give us another option here because I'm sick of not having any other options in my area at least.
Yeah. Because my store still has a wall of PS2 games. Now, as we get closer to the Wii U, I know those PS2 games are going to come down. But that's like when I walk in there, I hit the DS games first because there's a bunch of DS games I'm looking for, and then I head straight back to the PS2 and hit that wall, and then I hit the PSP little shelf that's there, and then I
We're
start looking into the modern stuff.
we're in exact reverse order. I'm PSP first. That's like the first thing I'm looking at these days.
Yeah.
Those always seem to have the better price, and they're always have a deal down here on them, like buy two get one free
Oh yeah.
in my area or something. So it's always PSP first, PS2 slash GameCube section next, and then I'll kind of wander about after that.
Yeah. I think I might be done with the GameCube. I can't think of any more games I really need to get for it. I might be done with my GameCube collection.
Maybe you're at your max for it. I'm trying to think. I think there's a couple. Actually, I think there's a lot left I want to get for mine, but I can't spit them out. Was there a Fire Emblem game for it?
Yeah,
I was told I need to try that one, so that's
yeah.
what I'm looking for off the top of my head. What is it? I know you have it. Survival horror.
Eternal Darkness.
Yes. Can't
Yeah,
find it. Don't you have it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Can't find it anywhere, and that's unless you want to buy it online and you don't know what condition it's going to be in. That's one I really want to play. So there's still a few games I'd like to get for my GameCube.
Yeah. There probably are. If I go down and like look at what I have and then look at like a list online, there's probably some other stuff I want to get for it too. It's probably some like niche stuff that I really am missing out on. But yeah, Eternal Darkness. Oh my God, you need to get that game.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, and I'm a survival horror fiend, and I
yeah.
just really want to play it.
Well, here's the thing though. Have you read about the game at all, or is it still pretty like?
No, I've
Yeah.
watched a lot. I watched a lot of reviews on. I watched
Okay, have you been?
happy video game nerds we love it, but he's not as big as a fan as most people are. But I heard
Right.
he played it wrong, so I don't know whether to take his video to heart or not.
But have you spoiled yourself on what the game does?
It was not on purpose. It's like everyone mentions it, like the
Yeah.
certain things it does.
Yeah.
So yes, it kind of
Okay.
ruins. It's still gonna freak me out though. I know it's going to be like I don't know when it's gonna happen, and I
Yeah.
only know about the one thing it does, and that's the memory card thing. That's the only one. So,
Okay.
and I heard there's more. If there's any
Oh
more, I
yeah.
don't know.
There's one where I was a second away from being like a 5-year-old kid and spiking my controller on the ground, and then it resolved, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I mean, on the one hand, you have the survival horror aspect that's scary enough, but then when the game actually starts fucking with you, like the only other game that does that I can think of is Metal Gear Solid when you fight Psycho Manus.
Yeah,
That was crazy as well. I don't know why more games don't do stuff like that, but yeah, that was an experience. Unfortunately, I think it's been spoiled throughout the years, but you need to find that real fast because
I'm just tempted to buy it off of Amazon or something.
yeah,
It's just
just
that something about seeing it and examining it first. Just
yeah,
it's more
just
comforting than buying something online.
I I have come to really with Amazon really, I mean, more so than eBay almost, really read those descriptions because eBay you can look at pictures.
Yeah,
Amazon you can't.
yeah.
And
I got screwed on an Amazon sale one time so far, so not too bad because I do a lot of buying from there. But
yeah.
someone sent me I guess, an overseas copy of the first Luminous Arc, and they said it was an original one, which is kind of hard to find over here.
Yeah.
And it was a great price, and it was brand new, and it wound up being a PAL copy. Pretty
But it,
frustrated about that, but I like
but
the
it,
nice oversized case.
yeah, but it worked though, right?
Oh yeah, it worked,
Yeah. I
and it was
guess
a great
yeah, you
game.
would want the
Loved it.
US version because of the rarity. But
Yeah, pretty much, and that Atlas stamp on the front because it doesn't have it on this one. So,
well, who put it out over there?
I mean, I don't even know because it doesn't put anything but the rating on the front of it. It says Rising Star Games. There you go.
Really, Rising Star Games.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Are they known
actually
for something?
well, Rising Star Games is kind of like the European Xseed.
Okay.
Yeah, they've just like they put out Akai Katana over here. They're just now starting to bring out games in the North American market, and they're going to be another one of those companies that when they get ready to release something, you want to watch because they're really into releasing like the niche JRPGs, niche like Japanese games. So
Okay.
yeah, they're another company you want to watch out for. And like they released Dodonpachi Resurrection, and that's region free for the 360, so you can buy the PAL copy and play it on your 360.
Yeah, that's that other shooter, correct? Another shooter.
Right, right, right.
But anyways, yes. So retro games. What's the? I don't know
We
how to
kind of
say.
really got off topic
I don't know
there.
how to segue into the next topic. Depends on what
Uh,
we want to talk about.
yeah, well, that's okay.
This is like our news
Yeah,
episode one today. We got a lot of news to catch up
a
on.
lot of news. A big thing that just recently happened here, and it's actually really sad. And I'm at a loss because of it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, who cares, Dustin? Being an adult, and that's Nintendo Power is going to be closing shop in December. The December 2012 issue will be the last issue of Nintendo Power. They say they're going to do a big, spectacular issue. We'll see how if it's not as thick as a phone book, then I'm going to be disappointed. But after 20, almost a quarter of a century, most of my let's put it this way, my entire life that I can remember, because you really don't start forming memories till you're about 3 years old or so. So
For me, it was like 10 years old, but go ahead.
yeah,
I was a
but
late bloomer with my memory.
well, I can remember. I talked to my mom about this one time. I was like, Mom, was there ever a moment when we were in like a mall and I was crying I was crying hysterically because you wouldn't buy me a GoBot? And she's like, Dustin, how do you remember that? You were like 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
guess it was a
impressive.
very traumatic moment that I didn't get Leader One.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it started in '88. That was the first issue was in '88, so I would have been 6 years old, and I think I got my subscription in like I can't remember when I got my subscription, but I had like three bouts of subscriptions with Nintendo Power. Like when I was a kid and I got it, and then when I got into sort of middle school, somehow it lapsed and we just stopped getting it. And
Mhm.
then when I started up college, I was like, you know what? I really miss Nintendo Power. I want to get it back. So I subscribed to Nintendo Power, and then I kind of let it lapse. And then here, like a couple years ago, has it been a couple years or was it just last year? Here
I want to
recently, I
say you
just
started your videos on it about a year ago. You started
right.
doing the perusing videos.
Yeah, but I was subscribed for a while before that, so
Okay.
maybe it's been about 2 years. I've been subscribed, and I will say that classic Nintendo Power, back in the day, Nintendo Power is infinitely better than the current Nintendo Powers. But it's really gonna be sad to see it go because I really feel like it's been something that's been with me through my entire life, you know. So
And I didn't get to see any, like, I wasn't a magazine guy back then. And I love seeing people like NES Complex when he's going through those older ones
hmm
because they look so much better than what we get today.
well, I mean,
Even the ads look amazing for
yeah,
the commercial ads in them.
the
Just
thing
it's so reflective.
the thing about Nintendo Power back in the day was it was useful. I mean, it got you excited about games, but it had so much stuff in it. Like it was I mean, of course they can't do it today because of strategy guides and how big the strategy guide market is. But I mean, like I have a Nintendo Power from back in the day that's a complete walkthrough for Dragon Warrior 3. You know, where else are you going to get where else could you get something like that, you know?
Or like whole maps from Metroid so
Yeah,
you know how to get around and stuff. Yeah.
or complete levels, complete maps for the levels of Mega Man games. You know, it was so crazy back in the day. When we were kids, we had no idea what we had, but now as adults looking back at it, you're like, holy crap, that was an amazing magazine.
And I was actually quite shocked to hear, especially when they announced the number of subscriptions they actually have.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was like, I mean, if it's over 500,000 still. I mean, that sounds like profit to me. And so it seems kind of crazy that it's closing down shop. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to run a magazine company, but it,
Yeah.
I mean, that seemed like it would have brought in plenty of dough to keep these things going, or just shop it out to another distributor or publisher
Well,
and see if you
it
can get it
was
going.
here's what what I've sussed out what happened. Nintendo is the one that ceased the deal for some reason.
Nintendo did.
Yeah, because they had a contract with future publications to keep Nintendo Power going, and for some reason the contract was up, and they decided not to renew it. So
Man,
it's not the
huh.
publisher's fault; it's Nintendo's fault for some reason.
It makes me wonder if they're really wanting to get into. I mean, that's December, so kind of around the time where maybe Wii U should be out to
Mm.
get into. I know they have that Nintendo like video that comes out every month
hmm
or whatever on a 3DS.
Nintendo
Maybe
Direct.
they're gonna really try to get into stuff like that. Like, hey, just watch this show on Wii U TV and get updated with all your Nintendo news. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either because I can understand not want to make a physical copy anymore because it's kind of a dying industry,
It is,
unfortunately,
yeah.
which is scary. That's absolutely terrifying
Think how many
because
major newspapers are actually putting out the paper now. I think they're closing down left and right, but
yeah.
it's
Well,
insane.
I mean, when everything goes online on the internet, I mean, look at Wikipedia. How easy is Wikipedia to change? I can go in there and write that, George Washington was a transvestite,
Yeah.
and it'll go on there. It'll be on there for a while at least. But so when we start, stop having printed media, physical media that can't be changed, it's going to be like 1984, where they're constantly changing the news stories.
Man, you're right. That's like scary thinking of it now. Way to go, Dustin. That's like you just put fear in me of
Well,
like, yeah, no more media like that. That is a scary thing to think about.
yeah. That's why everyone's everyone that's so balls crazy about this new digital world we're living in. I'm like, no, you don't understand what can happen. I mean, this stuff can be changed really easy.
That's what a lot of people knock the newest Die Hard movie, but that's what I really liked about it because I was like, the fire cell thing. I was like, this seems like it could actually happen.
Oh no.
I don't know about people terrorizing the airport and driving airplanes blowing up, but maybe someone could take over my traffic light and make me wreck. So
Yeah. Well, there is I did read something where industry people are saying that by 2017 we will have cars that drive themselves.
by 17,
Yeah, like the technology will
wow.
be there to do it.
I know I've seen
And
some videos like a couple of years ago for like for blind people to have someone kind of a robot do the car thing, but I mean, it makes sense
Yeah,
with everything that's coming out. It seems like it's happening so quick, doesn't it?
it really
We took
does.
we took hundreds of thousands of years to
It's
get
like,
to a certain place, and now within like 30, we went from nothing to everything.
yeah, this is always something that I laugh about, but it's kind of, it's going to be scary to think. I'm going to be able to tell my kids that I am older than the internet.
You will be. That's you will be.
I mean, that'll blow their minds that there was a world before the internet. But yeah, I mean, I don't. I've heard rumors for years that Game Informer is also going to be ending. That they're just going to go to a digital online version. Which
Yeah,
I have to
I
say,
thought they were going to do that too around the same year or something. They haven't said anything, but
yeah.
it's headed that way.
Now I will say that I have subscribed to an online magazine. I have subscribed to Retro Gamer magazine, which the current issue that's up there does have an interview with Mark of Classic Game Room in it. So that was kind of cool. And they also shouted out some other YouTube channels to check out, which of course was like the Angry, Video Game Nerd, and there was a couple other ones. And then the fourth one that they shouted out was Happy Console Gamer. And I was like, whoa,
That's awesome.
it's Johnny. But
Speaking of which, I thought his movie was going to be out by now. But
it's
anyway,
on
different topic.
it's on its way. Give the man a break.
I'm so excited for it. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
See, and that's the kind of stuff because my friends and I, we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. Like we just go out and film a bunch of stuff. Like for a video project in college, I filmed a lightsaber duel between myself and my one of my good friends. And then we were planning on doing our own little 45-minute Star Wars movie, which I had it all scripted out and everything, but then we got lazy and didn't do it. But I love it when people make like their little fan movies or home movies and things like that. I think that's great.
Okay, like I said, I'm using YouTube to the Xbox, and I'm gonna put it on the big old TV and
I'm
try
going to
to
invite
watch in the best
I'm going to
quality I can.
I'm going to invite friends over. We're going to have some beers. We're going to enjoy it.
It's
But
gonna be a good time.
yeah,
But yeah, again, closing down, it is. It's like I know it's getting way off topic, but
that's
with just that medium dying, it's just like the older generation of today who got to experience the wars and everything, they're dying off too, and we are going through a huge transition just in the culture where people with all these awesome stories about back in the day are passing away, and we're hitting into a new light of just different stuff.
we are the World War II vets of the gaming industry.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I said this in my perusing the Nintendo Power issue for September. There was just something about getting that magazine in the mail, and it had your name on it, and it was yours. It was your mail, and there was just something so exciting. Because I remember when I'd get off the bus from elementary school, I'd be right there by the mailbox. So I'd open the mailbox up and get the mail and bring it to the house. And the days where a Nintendo Power issue was in that mailbox were instantly the best days of that month because you're like, oh man. And you would take it inside, and I mean, it was kind of like that scene in Christmas Story where Ralphie gets the decoder pin and he's like coveting in it, and he's like, so excited to finally get the Ovaltine message. And you'd go inside and you'd be like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see what's inside here." And you'd open it up and you would read just a little paragraph about a game that was coming out, and they'd have like one little screenshot there, and you would just sit and look at that little screenshot the entire month. Like I remember when Final Fantasy 3 was getting ready to come out, and like every issue they'd have like a little picture, of just like Celis walking on the overworld map, and I just sat there like, oh man, only a few more months until this comes out. And I don't have that excitement anymore. Which, I mean, I'm an adult now, of course, but I think there is something to be said for the holding back of information, because
Yeah,
this internet age, I can go on the YouTube, I can watch gameplay videos. Like today, I was watching developer diaries for Bioshock Infinite. You can watch all this stuff, and it feels like by the time you get the game in your hands and you're at home playing it, you've already played the game from all the
yeah,
stuff you can watch. And there was just some magic about Nintendo Power, and seeing these just seeing the pictures, and you're like, Mom, that one, I want that one. and I don't know. I don't feel like it's something that's so like it's hard to grab these teenagers nowadays and tell them about this and make them understand because they're too busy with their nose in their iPhones and everything. But it was a simpler time back then, you know?
Back in those days, it
Yeah.
was so simple, and I still am. I still got my child in me, so I still kind of get a little bit excited when a magazine comes in. I get giddy when I see a package on my front porch that has my name on it. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to rip it
that's
open.
the new addiction is like an Amazon or an eBay package. You're like, "Oh, it's here."
Oh
You know.
yeah, and you get your package in. So, but it is sad times to see such a. I mean, that's a historic thing,
I
in
mean,
my opinion,
it's
just
like
going away.
it was like the gaming magazine. I mean, there was other, of course, there was Game Fan and Game
How many
Pro.
died out? I mean, since it's been in, I mean, the Game Fan, Game Pro. I mean, so many have come and gone, and it
Yeah,
held the times.
and I mean, the only ones that are still going is like EGM, which is kind of a shell of its former self.
How does that
Um,
even still exist? I'm sorry, that gaming magazine should not exist.
well, it's bi-monthly now, and
Okay.
but I mean, I remember getting EGM when it was like it was at least a quarter of an inch thick. I mean, it was a thick magazine back in the day,
Hmm.
and like now it's just like I mean, I have a subscription to it still, but when the subscription's up, it's done. I'm not going to subscribe to it anymore because it's not a good magazine anymore. But yeah, I
There
don't.
you go, everyone. Cancel your EGM subscriptions per Dustin Christ.
But I will say this about the digital magazines. Okay, here's my thing. I really like Retro Gamer magazine. I mean, I've always perused it when I go to Barnes and Noble, but I've never purchased it because each magazine is like $10. So I was like, one day I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to subscribe to this. So I went to the site and looked at it. It was going to be over $100 to subscribe to that magazine for a year because it's from the UK. You have to import it.
Hmm.
So when my father-in-law got his iPad, he was all crazy about it because he subscribes to a ton of like news magazines. He's like a news junkie, like Time and Foreign Affairs and all that stuff.
Hmm.
He can get all those on his iPad now, so he's like in hog heaven, you know. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, iPad, maybe Retro Gamer magazine's on there. And I looked, and of course it is. And the subscription, while still being expensive at $46, is a much easier pill to swallow than like 120, you know.
So it was 46 for the year.
46 for a year, or
Okay.
you can there's it's like 23 for 6 months. So if you just want to do a 6 month subscription to try it out, $23, that's the price of a game or a movie.
That's nice. And if you're really enjoying it, then hey,
Yeah.
by all means. And it is, and how many? I've never looked at a magazine on a digital device yet. So does it kind of feel like you're getting your money's worth? Is it? Does it feel like it's a
It's
90 or to 100-page magazine?
it's
What is it?
what it is it just a digital version of the actual magazine, complete with the ads and everything in it. Everything that's in that magazine is in this digital version.
Okay.
I mean, literally, I'm just looking at this. If you would buy an issue and I had my iPad and we went through it page by page, it's the same exact thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, and of course, with the iPad, you can zoom in on things and that kind of stuff as well. So, I mean, I really like it. It takes some getting used to read a magazine on a device like that because I don't have an e-reader or anything like that, so I've never really done it. Um, but yeah, I mean and the issues stay on your iPad, so you can go read your back issues and things like that. You can buy back issues; they're kind of expensive at $5 a pop, but if you want to. The only thing I don't like about Retro Gamer Magazine is that it really kind of focuses on because in Europe, like the computer market, like with the Amigas and things like that,
Yeah.
and the Commodore 64s and things like that, that was a really big market. That was like their main video gaming stuff.
So it's a
And
lot of stuff like that in there.
it's a lot of
Just
stuff
nothing
like
too.
that in there, but it's also got a lot of like console stuff and things like that. But I mean, it's interesting to read because I know nothing about those consoles. But at the same time, it's like let's talk about some Nintendo games now. So it's just my sort of ethnocentrism, I guess. But
So, yeah, if I was paying $100 a year, it better come in some fancy box set or something.
It better be gold plated.
And speaking of box sets, another segue.
Oh no.
Bum bum bum. I got a surprise one for you here.
Ooh.
So Square Enix,
Oh, I know what you're
they
talking
did yes, they did their special announcements and stuff going on this past what was it, September 1st?
about. Yeah, something like that.
And yeah, this is something we didn't even talk about in our pre-show warm-up, you guys. This is all new here. And they announced not only Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, which I'm
13.
excited about and we'll talk into,
Yeah.
but that big, huge box edition with every Final Fantasy game made. That just sounds expensive for one thing, but does it seem pointless at this time? And I mean, doesn't everyone
Yeah.
have these games already, you think? Do you think it's going to do good or what?
It seems kind of pointless to me because not only do I own all the games, I own multiple versions of all the games.
Okay.
So like for me, the only thing I see that thing as is a collection piece.
Yeah. And
Like I'm
from
not going.
what I saw, I mean, it equaled out to like $450 over in Japan, which I don't know if I think they could do. I mean, you get them what, $10 digitally online now, some of the
Mhm.
first games. I'm thinking 150 could be the number we get over here for it,
Yeah.
but that's just the number I'm putting out there. But it's tempting. I mean, it is tempting for a nice collector's piece.
I could see them releasing it over here as like a limited piece. Like one of like 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Number it,
Yeah.
something like that.
Which, if they're really wanting to make it a success, that needs to be the way it will go because, like to me, that only appeals to the collector's market. Because like,
And I forget the other things they're putting in. I think did they say soundtrack and art book and stuff too, which could be some pretty good sellers, but I can't remember if they said that or not.
I know there's going to be an art book.
Okay.
I don't remember anything about a soundtrack though.
Here we go. I'm bringing it up now. It will include Final Fantasy PS1 disc, Final Fantasy 2 PS1 disc, Final Fantasy 3 the PSP version, Final Fantasy 4 PS1, 5 PS1, 6 PS1, 7 PS1, 8 PS1, 9 PS1, of course 10, 11, and 12 PS2, and 13. Now you notice they didn't put in 10.2 or 13.2 in there.
Yeah.
Seems kind of weird. I mean, it's Final Fantasy, but I guess they're just going for those mainstays
But
and
they also don't have the online games. They skipped
yeah,
11
no
and
online
14.
games.
Which, you know what? From a purely collector's standpoint, I think I am, because you can get the 14 collector's edition for pretty cheap still. I think I'm going to buy 11 and 14 just to have, so I can say, I have all the numbered Final Fantasies.
Yeah, and I think they're still gonna try 14 re-releasing it though. But yeah, I'd be down. I mean, if they're, I think I bought 11 a year after it came out. I was gonna try it on PC, and my PC wouldn't run it, so it was a waste of money.
Yeah.
And stores don't take back PC games because that's
Yeah.
just was their policy back then.
Yeah.
So I was stuck with this $50 game and couldn't even play it. But yeah, just to have them it'd be cool. But yeah, I don't see what it says. It's you get the statue 25th anniversary Moogle, include an art book and a 2-disc soundtrack with select pieces of music.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Which, you see, and that's the thing, too. Unless it's like never before released art pieces, that Final Fantasy art is everywhere. Okay? And as far as the soundtracks goes, have you ever tried to look and see how many different Final Fantasy CDs have been made? I
Oh
mean,
man,
no. It's like that music is everywhere. So, like the statue and then the packaging, that's all it really offers.
it
You know?
is. And what I'm looking at though, they have like some discs laid out in the picture here.
Mhm.
The discs are artwork in themselves though, man. These discs
Yeah.
look beautiful from the
I
picture I'm looking at.
Yeah, I will say that they do look really nice.
But yeah, I mean that's. I guess they're trying to say, hey fans, this is 25th anniversary, but I think I'd want a little bit more than that. I'd
Yeah.
want something special, like something, an unreleased game or something. I don't
You
know.
know what
Put
would make it
something
really
like that.
special?
What
Is
would
if
make it special?
instead of Final Fantasy VII PS1 version, Final Fantasy VII PS3 version, like everyone wants.
Ooh, wouldn't that
let
be a surprise?
let it go. It's never going to happen. Can
But
you
as we were
imagine?
saying, it'd be if they. I think it'd be. When are they supposed to release this thing?
That box set?
Yeah, don't know when they said they were going to release it.
I don't know.
And I mean, it seems like it could come out
They have
when
to release
next
it by
time it rolls around. I don't know, but if they did that, it'd be insane.
yeah. They have to release it by the end of the year because this is the 25th anniversary.
True. So I mean, even I've seen that got me when I saw this announced. I started perusing YouTube with some people do their own Final Fantasy VII like remakes, like they
Mhm.
upgraded it themselves. And man, I mean, those things just look beautiful. Like they're not like they're not PS3 graphics, but it's updated, kind of HD looking,
Yeah.
and they look good to me. I was like, why can't they just do something like that? I
Why can't they?
mean,
I
so
mean,
simple.
just do it with the Crisis Core engine. You know
Yeah, just the Crisis Core engine with would they use that in though? Was it just Crisis Core they put in or what?
that engine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I mean it kind of looks like it could also be like the Kingdom Hearts, like the same tool set that they use for Kingdom Hearts,
Okay.
but just more detailed. I don't know. I don't know what that engine's called. I mean,
So when you first said that, I was picturing you said Crisis Core. I was thinking of Crytek's Crisis game. I was
oh,
like, good lord, that's gonna be an expensive game.
yeah. I don't think we. I mean, we don't. It doesn't need to look. Here's the thing. Okay, it doesn't need to look like Final Fantasy 13. I know
It
people
does.
say,
Yeah.
but if it just looked better than what it did. I mean, because when you boot up Seven, at the time it was mind-blowingly gorgeous, but now it's kind of like, oh boy, you know.
And I think Seven's sales numbers back then, it wasn't like super like 5, 6 million or nothing like that. It wasn't super high, I don't think. I
It was
don't know
enough to
how
be
look
a,
up,
it was enough to be a greatest hits.
but I think if they did like do something, they'd find a new market plus their old market who never got to play it. Like me, I haven't played Seven yet, but I
Oh
would totally be down for buying a new copy. I think they'd sell
yeah.
4 to 5 million copies again
Oh
if
yeah.
they
People.
did
I
it.
mean, I would buy it, and I've played Seven. I mean, I haven't beat Seven yet, but I've played Seven at least 4 or 5 times.
Hmm.
I always get to Sephiroth, and I'm like, God, I need to have that Knights of the Round materia.
So, and then 13 Lightning Returns. Don't know too much about it. It sounds
It
like it's
sounds
going to be
weird.
different again.
Yeah.
Yes, sounds weird, but I'm just excited about seeing the conclusion of the story
Yeah.
on it. Or it doesn't make sense how it's going to connect, but I
Yeah,
mean,
because
I
it
guess
takes
it's
place like
going
a
to.
hundred years later.
Yeah.
Weird.
So I don't know, but I know I'm excited for it because I love the Final Fantasy 13 game. So I'm excited to see where this goes, or if she is going to be. They say she's going to be by herself, like a single player game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Instead of having, one monster in your party, you now have two.
And then what they say, it's supposed to be a shorter game, but it's meant for multiple playthroughs, but you're not going to unlock different endings. So it seems kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Why would you want to play through a game again if it's not going to give you a different ending or something? But it's supposed to be on a time-based system where you got a certain amount of days, and when you die, you lose time. When you use certain abilities and moves, you're using time off of the time you're allotted, and sounds kind of complex. And
Yeah, like the more you're talking about, the more I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
it sounds way out there.
Yeah.
It's probably just going to piss more people off who
Yeah.
already hate Final Fantasy, and
It's
then
like
they're gonna be like, "What are they doing?"
this is what it seems like. Okay, they put out Final Fantasy 13. Everyone's like, oh god, this is terrible. So they're like, all right, we'll fix it. Here's 13 too. Everyone's like, oh god, it's still terrible. And now they're like, you know what, guys, screw you. We're gonna make this game so obtuse that you're just gonna, it's like their middle finger to everybody that hated 13 and 13 too. Let's
Maybe
make it.
I think maybe people's chief complaint is the games are too easy, so they're like, "Well, take this. We're gonna throw all this crap at you now.
Yeah.
See if you can figure this one out, smart guy." But anyways, I'm excited just to see the story conclude, and I'm actually happy it's not going to be 50 hours long. I'm glad they said it's going to be short because I don't get 50 hours to complete a game these days.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually really happy with the last story's length, which
I love the length. I thought it was perfect.
we can talk about that a little later, but we have to keep spoiler free. Remember that.
We do. I will try my best. Well, apparently, I have my video recorder for that, by the way, the discussion for the past 4 days now, but just haven't put it up yet. So
Lazy.
you guys will probably hear it on this podcast first before I even get it on the internet.
You should rename your channel the Lazy Gamer.
There you go. But
I actually got called out on spoiling something again.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, I did. Apparently, my Uncharted, when I played Uncharted 1 and did a video discussion for it, I think it's because I was talking about how towards the end it kind of gets a little bit more sci-fi-ish and monsters and things like that, you know?
Oh yeah, that's been a
And
while, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, well, somebody wrote, "You spoiled it for me." And I'm like, well, the game's been out for how many years? You know, by now it's,
Games that come out this generation, I think get spoiled a whole lot quicker than I guess they did in the past. It's
yeah.
like it's hard to go without not getting spoiled in a game this gen with all the mediums that are out there, especially like if you're keeping up with like game trailers, watching the news, things like people fussing about Mass Effect 3's ending, and then you're seeing all these articles about how people want it changed and
Yeah.
things get spoiled these days just really easily.
I refuse to
But
download the new endings on Mass Effect.
I'm not going to. Like I said, I just picked Mass Effect up 3. Just
Mhm.
picked it up for $18, and I'm not gonna. I want to see what the whole fuss is about. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be angry at all about it. So
It's here's the problem with it. It's kind of like the ending of I can't think of the. I had the show on the tip of my tongue and then I let it slip. Um, but basically, it's very ambiguous as to what actually happens. You know what I mean? Like it ends the story, but what it does is it keeps it open for sort of future stories in the universe, if that makes sense.
okay,
Which it needs to do. I mean, if they're gonna, I mean, it's Mass Effect is a big series.
yeah, it's a yeah, it's a key franchise
You
now,
know,
so gotta do
we
stuff
fin
with it.
we finished Shepard's story, so now it's time to move on to a different, part of the, universe. It's like, what would happen if Star Trek ended with Kirk? You know what I mean? We would,
Dustin, you just spoiled it. You ended Shepard's story.
but I didn't, I didn't say how it ended it. But my wife, she hates ambiguous endings to movies. She wants everything to be wrapped up with a nice bow. And I think that's the way a lot of people are, with narratives. They want it to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if it has an ending that requires you to sort of think a little bit, and of course people are gonna be like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That ending was terrible." Blah blah blah. But I actually really liked the ending because when the game was over, I was still thinking about it. Like, well, what did this mean? Well, what did that mean? It's kind of like Prometheus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it when something lets me interpret my own ending how I
Yeah.
want to. Because maybe, say, like in a game, it could put the idea out there, like the ending of The Matrix.
Hmm.
Take the last Matrix movie. I want to say Neo's still out there somewhere, but someone else could say, no, he's gone, he's kaput. So I
Yeah.
kind of like how you could just leave stuff open like that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, we could talk about those movies too sometime. But I actually really like the entire Matrix trilogy. I know a lot of people bash 2 and 3, but
Don't know why,
I don't
but
know what. I don't know why.
I don't understand it.
Because I mean, maybe it's because it requires you to actually have some knowledge of like Christianity, Buddhism, things that are
Hmm.
outside the realm of the normal movie, which I like. I love that in movies. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is one of the most divisive movies of all time, and that's Southland Tales. And it requires you to have a knowledge of the poetry of Robert Frost. It requires you to have a knowledge of the Book of Revelation, and it requires you to have an open mind about sort of the how far the American way can go and how
That
badly it can go.
that's a movie I still want to see.
Yeah.
And because isn't it by the same makers of Donnie Darko who did all that?
Same same guy of Donnie that made Donnie Darko, and um, it uses a lot of the same logic as Donnie Darko.
Okay.
Whereas Donnie Darko was, I mean, it had this big sci-fi bent to it about like the tangent universe and all that kind of stuff. It was really a story about high school, just wrapped up in this huge,
Hmm.
big, epic sci-fi story. That's the same thing with Southland Tales. Southland Tales has this huge like world-ending story as well, but really what it looks at is it takes a view of 2008 America, which the Patriot Act was running, things like that, and it says, what if one more event happened that pushed us over the edge? And that event is a nuclear detonation in a small town in Texas called Abilene. And that just pushes America even further down that Patriot Act road where you have to have visas but to go between states and stuff like that. So like a lot of the ideas that the movie presents, like there's this I flat out, it's one of the most amazing scenes in film. It's the all these things that I have done, that song by the Killers. It's this
Yeah.
musical part of the movie because I mean the movie just goes all over the place. It is kind of a train wreck, but I love it. But Justin Timberlake plays this Iraq veteran soldier, and he's having this drug hallucination where he's singing this song, and there's this part towards the end where the song's kind of coming to an end, and he's singing that part. You know, the battle is won with all these things that I've done, and you know you can't hold on, that part of the song, and just this look on his face, and you just see like everything that soldier went through in Iraq, you know, and it made my wife cry when we watched it. Like she was crying. I was like, you have to watch this scene. Look at his face. You can see everything that he did in Iraq and the effect it had on him, you know. And to me, it's one of the best scenes in movies ever.
I think since you mentioned Justin Timberlake, is that what you think people maybe get scared to see that movie? It's got Justin Timberlake, it's got The Rock, it's got Sean William Scott. Can they
Okay,
really hold a movie together with those actors? Maybe that's what some
see,
people just don't see.
I will tell you this. Okay, Justin Timberlake is really good in it. I think he is a good actor. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching him in what was it, Alpha Dog. I like that. I
I
enjoy
want to see
watching.
his newest one, that Time movie. That
Oh,
intrigues me because I
in
love
time,
sci-fi.
in
Yeah,
time, that was great. I loved In Time, and
it's
I
not
loved him in
Redbox
Social
anymore. I
Like
can't get it.
if you haven't seen him in Social Network, I mean, is he's a good actor.
Yeah, he
Um,
did a good job of that too. You're right.
Sean William Scott, he does a really good job as well. You can really see when you figure out what his character is and what he's done in the past, and you see the guilt in him. I think he really does that well. The Rock, when you watch it, you're gonna think The Rock does not know how to act, but that is part of his character.
It's part of the character.
His
Okay.
character's kind of schizophrenic, and he has these schizophrenic breaks when he gets stressed. And it's going to seem like he's playing two different characters because he is, you know. And then when you start watching it, like all this secondary cast are like all these. You're going to see like Booger from the Revenge of the Nerds movies. You're going to see, you know, Sherry O'Terry and Amy Poehler. You're going to see all these people that you know, but are
Hmm.
kind of like C-list or D-list actors,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the point because he wanted to have all these people on here because it's a piece of pop art and it's supposed to be ridiculous and it's theater of the absurd is what it is. And that's, I mean, the reason why a lot of people didn't like it is because they watched it and they're like, oh god, I don't get it, you know. But if you start reading into it and understand what he's doing, you can sort of, you know, pick and choose, I guess. But we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, since we strayed way off there,
Well,
talk
I
about
started talking
the
about
Matrix and Southland Tales.
yeah. Whenever I start talking about Southland Tales, I tend to go off because I really love the movie and I think it has a lot to say about our society. Of course, once it starts getting into the really sort of sci-fi aspects of the story, it kind of goes off the rails. But
Yeah,
the first two halves or the first two parts of the movie, I think, says a lot about our culture and where we could head. It is the road not take the road not taken, which is why they use that Robert Frost poem so much in that movie. But anyway, back on topic. What the
yes.
fuck are we
Back
talking
to
about?
games. Well, I can give us something new to talk about. Just my one more quick topic was today I saw on IGN where they're going to be doing a top 100 RPG list, and they're going to start doing that on September 10th, giving you 20 games a day throughout the end of the week. So for any RPG players like me who I'm kind of new into them, I got about 15 to 20 under my belt now, but I'm always out there looking for awesome recommendations for classic RPGs and stuff like that to get into. So I'm really looking forward to see this list they got. I have a feeling they might put a bunch of shooter type RPGs on there, which I don't really. I mean, I like games like Borderlands and stuff, but I'm kind of anxious to see what they're going to put on there. What type of games they're going to put for their top 100 RPG games.
Whenever somebody does a list like this, or even if it's like somebody on YouTube that's like top 10 RPGs of all time,
Mhm.
I always want to watch and see if Final Fantasy VII is the number one. And I'm really interested. I'm like, will IGN put Final Fantasy VII as the number one? Because so
I
often
don't
that's
think
like,
they will.
I don't know. I don't know either. I'm trying to think of what they would actually put above
I
Final
I
Fantasy
think
VII.
they're going to put your game above it.
My game.
Yes, your Final Fantasy choice. I think they will put Final Fantasy 3/6
You think?
above Final Fantasy 7. I'm calling it. I'm calling it now.
Is that okay? Is that your bet? Is it
That's
even going
my
to be a
guess.
Final Fantasy game? I don't know. Like it's IGN, so part of me
Well,
says
the
it.
order of Final Fantasy games, I'm thinking they're going to put 6 above 7. I don't know where it'll be out on the list, but I think
Now
it
here's the
will be.
question: will 6 be above 4? Because so many people.
A lot of people revere 4. You're right, as the best.
But I mean, this is IGN. I can see them putting Skyrim as number one. You know,
True.
which
I
Skyrim's
mean,
a great game, but it's like it just seems like such a cop out answer because it just came out.
we'll see. That's why I don't really look forward to the order of the list. I just like seeing because
Uh,
maybe they're gonna put one out there I don't know about. So I'm hoping just to discover something I haven't played before or heard about, and we'll see what kind of controversy the top 20 stirs up. But it's gonna be interesting just to maybe learn about one I haven't seen or overlooked and see what their thoughts on it are.
yeah.
But anyways, did you have a couple more you want to talk about if you remember what they were?
Well, one thing that we don't, I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time on, but I do want to talk about it is the fact that my number one game of 2011 is going to be coming out on Steam, and that is To the Moon. So if you've missed out on To the Moon, you really have no reason to miss out on it now because it's going to be on Steam, as well as just you can just download it like I did for your PC and just play it on that. But
Yeah.
boy, wouldn't it be great to have that Valve console to play To the Moon?
Yes.
And then the
Be
last
great.
thing I wanted to talk about was Trails in the Sky. Second chapter is going to be released on PSN in Japan. And a lot of people are going to say, well, so what, Dustin? That's in Japan. And I will say to you, yes, but that makes it, I would think it would make it infinitely easier for Xseed to release the game over here. Because right now they're getting marred down in the translation because there's a ton of text in that game. But also, that game is 2 UMDs long.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah,
Did not know that.
yeah. So if they can release that on PSN, um, that'd be super easy for them. Now, of course I will miss out on a wonderful box set from them. But I actually kind of thought about this, and this is actually something that I would be okay with. Is that if like from Xseed's website, you could buy the box set, and instead of having a game in there, it just had the download code. But it's actually the limited edition box set, like you would put on your shelf, like the first game. I would
Oh
actually,
really?
I
That'd be
would
cool.
I would actually buy that if it had the soundtrack and like a little bracer emblem like the first one did, a map, and all that stuff, and it just had like a slip for the download code for PSN. I would buy that over just downloading it, no problem, just off their site.
Yeah, I would definitely be into something like that too. I still gotta play through the first one. I put 6 hours into it, and then when I kept finding out it could be like a 60 or hour or longer game,
It's about
it
50.
about 50.
Yeah, about 50.
It's just one of them things that kind of scared me and pushed me off from it a
Oh,
little bit. Like, which I know it's one you revere, and I need to
yeah.
play, and it's in my top 5 that I'm gonna try to finish before the end of the year. That's one of the
Yeah.
games.
Because you start getting into that story between Estelle and Joshua, and then once Oliver joins, once Oliver starts palling around with you, oh my God, Oliver is just hilarious. So, but that ending, ah,
That's the thing. That's like I'm gonna get this ending and maybe not get the chance to play the second one, which kind of goes back full circle to how we are talking about the Ouya and Kickstarter. And I really hope people, like game developers out there, which are already doing, just give your fans a chance. Like put it
what?
up there. Just give us a chance to say, hey, we'll pay money. Just translate this game for us. Bring it out over here to us. We'll show you we want it. And hopefully it could like bring some of these games over here that we really want to get translated, and so we can show them that hey, we want this stuff. So
Yeah.
give us a chance.
It's been a while since I've checked Xseed's Facebook page, but I wonder if anyone suggested that. I'm sure someone has to have. Like, start up a second chapter Kickstarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it takes a whole lot of time to do. Just like type it up, like, hey,
Yeah, because
we can do a Kickstarter. If you raise this much money, we'll do it.
I know that's the reason why it's taking so long is because Xseed can't justify it to their shareholders because the first game, one is a PSP game, two it's a RPG. It didn't sell like crazy, but everyone that's bought it has loved it. So
So I'm hoping, yeah, they need to do something like start up more Kickstarters for this stuff for
Yeah.
Just games like I want Final Fantasy Type Zero still. I hear so many great things about that for the PSP, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get that. So
Yeah.
just so
Unless
many
they
games that would be great to get that we can't get.
unless they just slap it on a Vita card.
If that's in the plans, that'd be awesome. I'd love for that to happen.
I think a lot of people would love for something like that to happen since the Vita doesn't really have anything coming out on the horizon.
Yeah, but I think I have just as many DLC games on that thing, which we'll talk about in the games we're playing
Yeah.
recently, and then I do retail games to buy. So
Well, let me ask you this because I'm still interested in getting a Vita, but to be honest with you, it's only for one game, and that's Ys Celceta. So let me ask you this:
okay,
you're now an owner of a Vita,
I am.
but of course you got yours for free.
Yes.
Now, if you would have paid for that, do you feel like you'd be a lot more pissed off right now?
If I
Because
would have paid for Vita, I'd be very upset right now.
yeah,
There's just nothing. There's nothing that's grabbing my. There's stuff out there I want. Like I have Uncharted and I have Hot Shots Golf. I bought that because that's a game to just play on the go easily. I
mm,
do want to get Gravity Rush, but I'm not in a rush to get it. No pun intended.
uh,
I really want to get Disgaea 3. And there's games coming out in the future that I want to get.
yeah,
But right now, I mean, that's it. I don't want to play Resistance. I don't want to play any of the other games, soccer or anything like that for it. There's just not much out. I'm super unhappy. And most of the gameplay I've been getting out of it has been through some small downloadable games and playing classic PS1 games on there. That's going to be my like I own Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 now PS1 versions.
yeah.
But I'm going to buy them on my Vita and play them on there because it's just going to be easier to have it on the go for $10 a piece and just play them on my Vita. So I'm going to get more play out of that, probably playing some old classic games
Yeah.
than I do regular games until like they have Ragnarok Odyssey, which again, thank you so much, Xseed, for making a limited collector's edition or just a collector's edition of that coming out next month with an art book and soundtrack. Because are they just not the best company out there right now?
They,
Xseed.
yeah, I really, yeah. I mean, they are, but it's the sad thing that they're kind of in a weird position because they're, how do I want to put this? They're too big to not release like high profile stuff, but they're still too small to really be able to effectively do it. You know what I mean? Like they're just in this
Yeah,
weird in between stage.
they are, and it's sometimes I'm hoping that they're making profit. I'm hoping people are buying their stuff, which they must be because they are giving us a lot of good quality stuff.
Yeah.
But I really hope people are supporting them because they really are into like fan service for artwork and CDs and stuff because they know we appreciate that stuff and I just love those guys. They're amazing. So I'm glad they're giving us that collector's edition of that. But there's not much on the horizon. Ragnarok Odyssey and Fantasy Star Online 2
Do you
next year.
do you have
That's
any
it.
interest? Do you have any interest in Persona 4?
None.
Okay.
None at all because I want to get into SMT games, but I think I remember us talking about it on the last podcast. I just don't know if even Persona 4 will be my thing.
Yeah.
Maybe like I need to go into what was it, Digital Devil Saga you were talking
Yeah.
about, more
I
traditional.
I hear that's the more traditional one, which even that I got kind of frustrated with.
So, but yeah, right now, just the two most hyped games I'm looking forward to are the Ragnarok Odyssey and the Fantasy Star Online 2. And other than that, there's nothing. It'd be cool to have a Resident Evil exclusive. I mean, it's a powerful console. I mean, just something, but they're not. Or Soul Sacrifice. I forgot about that one. That seemed like a pretty cool game, but I'd be very unhappy right now if I paid $300 for this thing and with what they have out there to get, there's just not much selection. So I'm glad I got it for free because I definitely would not have bought it until East came out. Like, hopefully you'll plan on doing if you were able to do it, but that'd be it. That's when I was gonna get mine. Hopefully with the cool. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll release a different style Vita with it. You'll get a nice fancy East
Vita
Vita.
Vita version 2. Yeah, right. One can dream.
But
Now
yeah.
that Ragnarok Odyssey,
Hmm.
is that any relation to like the Korean Ragnarok games? Like the Ragnarok that was on the DS and then there was an online, it was like free MMO.
I think it has relation. I don't know anything about the older ones though.
Yeah.
So, but I want to say I read something on it. It's like the same type of universe, maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just I'm really hyped about it because it's a multiplayer co-op game. You can play with people. It's a loot game, and I'm just really into playing with other people and doing stuff like that. Which it just sounds like fun. Which I don't know if Code of Princess is going to have like loot and gear in it,
Well,
but
I was talking to my GameStop peeps, and I guess they went to a manager's thing where they were getting to play Code of Princess, and they were telling me that it's very multiplayer based. So,
which
you
means
there?
you're gonna have to play with me. There's no way around
Well, yeah. I mean,
it.
I wasn't going to ask you on here, but yeah.
And like I said, since no one was willing to ask us any questions or anything off of our first episode, which that's okay, everyone. Hey, we just want to say thank you, though. It might be like we should have said this is the first part of the game, but thanks for everyone leaving the awesome feedback on the
Mm.
very first episode. Like all the likes and
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
how many views and everything we got on it. I was really happy with the response we got from you guys on our first episode and all the kind words you guys had to say.
Hey, Steven, you're cutting out a little bit. So
I cut
whatever you're,
out.
yeah, whatever you're doing over there, stop it.
The laggy gamer is lagging out, you guys.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah,
Because
no.
I use my internet off my phone and I just got a text message from my wife who just went to work. So
Oh,
sorry.
ah, yeah. So yeah, you were talking about how the digital revolution's coming, and we're gonna be all downloadable stuff. You don't know how many people in this country are like you that live out in the sticks and don't have like actual cabled internet
That's
in
what
their
that's why
house.
I think like some of these people are like these companies. I know they got the figures that hey, like 70 or 30% of our market isn't even on the internet. And that's like a big chunk. You think
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to lose that market, but hey, I guess that's what they want to do.
yeah,
But I still find my way, so I guess other people can too.
yeah.
What was I even talking about when I cut
Uh,
off?
you were talking about Code of
Oh, I was
Princess.
thanking
Oh
everybody.
yes.
Yeah. I was thanking everyone for all the positive feedback we got on that first video, the likes and the comments. It was heartwarming, and we're glad you guys liked it. We're still getting our feet wet in this thing, and we
Yeah.
hope to get more people on here to talk to bounce ideas off. But really happy you guys enjoyed the first episode. And ask
Okay.
us questions. Don't be worried. We won't bite you through the computer. I want to answer questions.
I gotta decide whether I'm gonna put Mega Man back up there dancing again, or if I'm gonna try to find something else to put up for this.
Yeah,
Because
the
we have,
website's still in the works. We still got work to do on that.
yeah,
So just be patient with us. We're still learning all this stuff.
yep, yep. But I think we're doing okay for right now.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We want to just
Anyway,
go ahead and get into what we've been playing.
sure. You
I don't
want
know
to?
what
So
our
you want
time's
to?
at. I can tell like
We are
yeah.
at an hour and a half right now.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
That's not too bad. So yeah, go ahead and get into it
Let's
there.
talk about the last story right now. We'll just get into the last story
All right, let's go ahead and get
quick.
into it.
Okay.
No wait,
I
no
played the
wait.
last.
Hold. Are we going to do spoilers at all, or are we just going to kind of keep it vague? I need to know now.
I don't think I need. I might talk about a boss fight, but I won't get too in detail with it. Like, I want to mention my favorite dungeon. Would that be too bad?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think people get more upset about the story, talking about the story in detail. Because
Okay.
like,
Yeah. It's not
because
much
we
to the
pretty
story.
much, I mean, yeah, we pretty much ruined Final Fantasy 13 too last episode. Oh well.
They should still play it. Great game.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, my video's not out yet, and but I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Not as much as Xenoblade, but I don't think you can really compare them. So story wise or anything, Xenoblade, yes, it was more colorful. The story was, I mean, more in depth and involved, not as simple. But the last story, I just love the simplicity of it and the love story that was there. Yes, I said it. I loved the love story in the last story. Really touching. And I just enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the crap out of it. The battle system, when you played it right, like they wanted you to do, it was a lot of fun. I know in your video, Dustin, you said you kind of had some problems with the battle system, sometimes hanging up on you.
Yeah, that's just because I don't look at the instruction manual before I play games. I think I can't remember who it was. I want to say Return to Mother Base, but I think he was talking to me about how he had the same problem. Someone was talking to me about how Maybe it was Nick. I think Ballin' Nick told me this. He's like, you gotta wait till that blue bar fills up. And I was like,
Yeah, I
oh,
was
damn
gonna
it.
tell you, I was like, you're like, I'm hammering on this up button, it's not coming up. I'm like, dude, you gotta wait for that to recharge, man.
No. I should be able to, now, I should be able to access that menu anytime I want. Now, to execute commands, I'm okay with waiting for that blue bar to fill up. But I should be able
Mhm.
to access that menu anytime I want.
Why would you want to access the menu then if you can't issue the command? What would you want to do it for?
Don't question me.
Because when I was doing my video, I
Well,
kind of compare it to a downgraded Dragon Age Origins. Like, yeah, in Dragon Age, we can stop time anytime we want, kind of think about what we're going to do. But I kind of liked how they made you wait. I mean, it's building tension. You want to get that heal spell off, but you got to wait for those bars to. Because for me, the game was too easy. I felt the game was too easy, so
even when we got to the boss battles at the end.
that's I died one time in the whole game, and that was it during that final boss battle. And I didn't go back to level up or nothing because I was 68 when I was there. But it's oh that
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say anything, but his
Let me tell
I
you.
can't say nothing. Never mind. I can't say
You want to
anything.
know what level I was the first time I tried to beat that final boss?
What was the first time you tried him? What level were you at?
57.
What in the world?
Do you want to know like how frustrated I was? I was like, "There's no way to beat him." So then I went back to one of those summon circles and leveled up to 62 and was able to beat him pretty easily then. But
Nice. But
I bet you I spent like 4 hours trying to beat that end boss. At level
it's
57.
just it. I died the one time, and then I was still getting frustrated in the time I beat him because during the battle, it's just. I mean, I don't know if this is spoiler or not, but you're getting one shotted in one hit during some of the parts, and that's frustrating when you're having to go just try to get someone up to
Wait,
revive a life or something.
are you talking about when you have to steal the certain thing to do the certain thing? See, this sucks talking about, when you're fight are you talking about when you have to like
I
knock a
think
weapon
most
away?
people know in an RPG how a final boss goes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
I was like, are you talking about when you have to knock the weapon away and then go quickly grab it? Because
No.
that was real
Next
frustrating.
part.
Next
The
part.
next
Okay.
part. Or no, that boss was a piece of cake. What are you talking about, man?
Well, apparently I was just horrifically
You're
underleveled
just a
for it.
you're just a bad last story player. No, I'm
Yeah,
just I'm just
apparently
messing
so.
with you, man.
But no,
The
like
the
I would knock that lance away from him, and then like he would be instantly there to pick it back up. There was like no time for me to pick that up.
I want to say even during that part, I was doing damage without the lance. So maybe I was too overpowered.
No, because you have to steal the lance in order to initially drop his shield. You have to hit him with the
Oh,
lance.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about now. Yeah,
and then after that you can attack him by normal.
you're good
But
to
like
go.
when I'm just trying to knock down his shield, like I couldn't grab a hold of that lance for nothing. Because
I'm, I'm
I'd do the thing to knock it away, and then he would like teleport right to it and grab it.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the form, I guess, after that, the final one. I don't know. Did it feel like you were getting one shotted during the final parts?
Oh, you're talking about the final boss.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and that it was ticking me off. I was like, "There's no way. I mean, I'm getting one shotted here. There's just no way to do it." But there is a way, people. Be patient. There's
Yeah.
a way.
Let me ask
But
you this, without any spoilers, what did you think of the twist?
the twist, I
Did you?
predictable. Can I say that?
Yeah, because I think the entire story. I mean, see, that's the thing. I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it, but I don't know why I went down this road. I immediately regret this decision.
Well, it's your basic. I mean, I think everyone said it's your basic simple RPG love story. It's your basic story. So if anyone knows how an RPG goes, everyone's gonna figure it out. But we still won't talk about it. But I
Which I
mean,
mean, it makes sense within the story when
it
you
does.
sort of understand what's going on with. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. But when it happens, a little torn. It was
Yeah,
predictable, but a little torn, a little sad,
yeah.
and then the ending, okay again, but
Now, did
still
you
a bit.
actually watch? Did you actually get to see the ending then? Because I know your Wii crapped out on you.
Yes, story. I mentioned in my video I did. I got all the way to past the final boss, which I think the game has 44 chapters. Did you get to finish it? You all the way to 44? I think
Yeah.
I got to 42, and my Wii cut off right when I could hear people hammering in the background, and I got to watch a little video about. It seemed like the ending, but I heard some people hammering in the background, and then it did pop up at the bottom of the screen, chapter 42 or 43 epilogue. Then my Wii cracked out. It said it couldn't read my disc, and I tried cleaning it, and you can't find a Wii cleaning kit anywhere. So I had to try to makeshift my own thing, and I got to take the Wii apart. But haha, smart Nintendo makes screws that you got to order a special screwdriver to get because they don't
Couldn't
want
you
you to open your box up.
couldn't you just I mean maybe I'm just, stupid here, but couldn't you just use like a CD or a DVD cleaning kit? Would that work for it?
Yeah, that's what I tried,
Okay.
and I think it's what they. From what I read up, it's you can kind of sometimes start hearing a knocking or a clanking in your Wii, which mine was doing, and which it is a used one that I picked up in December. But you could hear where it's not the part that keeps the disc, I guess, pressed with enough force to the reader.
Oh, okay.
It's loose, and I have to go in and tighten it up.
Okay.
So I have to take it apart, but I had to order a screwdriver, and I'm just waiting for that to get here to take the two screws out. I can't get tri-wing screws, so I haven't finished the epilogue chapters, which I guess wrap up everything. And I know you suggested going on YouTube to watch them, Dustin, but that feels dirty and wrong, so I don't want to do it.
Hey, you know what? You beat well, actually crap. Yeah, because during the epilogue chapter you still play a little bit. So,
Hmm.
yeah, never mind.
But
I
I
was going
kind
to
of heard
say
those that was still kind of optional, so I don't know if you need to do it or not. Some say you do, but I don't know. I didn't
uh,
see credits roll, and I don't want to see credits roll.
yeah. Well, you get to go around the town and talk to people and stuff like that. So it's kind of
Okay.
cool to see, everyone. But I was thinking about this game, and I said this in the video, I believe. I can see this kind of going how ease works because it focuses on such a small part of the country or
Hmm.
the world that who's to say, if Miss Walker wants to, we could see further adventures of this mercenary group.
I'm hoping we do because it's like you said, it's just these two little islands, and there's so much more out there. And even a prequel, I'd love to see something with. I'd love to play as Therius and like the head. Who was the head knight? I forget what his name was.
Art Arturius or
Yeah, or play his story or something. Go through with him, or
yeah.
it'd be on. They could do so much with this. What
Or
Miss Walker could do with this.
yeah, even if it's just like Seren and Lowell going off on their own adventure, something like
Yeah,
that.
it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or maybe their coming to story, how they all founded each other and became a band of mercenaries and did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the characters. Some got more attention than others, which is a little disheartening. I know Yurik was a cool character but he got a lot of attention. I
It's
don't
like
know which dungeons were optional and which were main ones. Like he had his little sea dungeon thing. I don't know
yeah.
as part of the quest or what, but like he had his whole little stuff about him, and other characters really didn't. You didn't
Yeah.
get to learn too much about him.
Well, there was kind of a brief thing that you got to go on an adventure with Morania. Did you get to do that one?
Yeah, I did every chapter. I made sure I
Okay.
did them because if I saw that I skipped one, I scoured the town to make sure I did not
Yeah,
miss. I went back to do it.
I think I might have missed. I mean, I did Horace's
And
and
an easily missable one from I think I talked about in my video again is the sea cavern one. Did you do sea cavern where you went down a lot of water in caves, and lots and lots of slowdown?
I seem to remember something like that.
It's one where you gotta talk to people at a well. They're like they're coming
Oh,
out of the well,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, I did that one.
okay, that's like one of the easily missed ones I've been hearing.
Yeah.
And so there are some you can miss, but I made sure I knocked everyone out. This is the first, I'm proud to say, this is the first RPG that I beat without having to look at any sort of guide to make sure I'm doing something right. And I'm really proud of that. I know it's a simpler one to do, but I'm proud I did not have to look to anything for this game.
Yeah.
So pat myself on the back.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the
I
characters were great, and yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I think the characters are great also. I mean, when you actually stop playing a game to sit and listen to the characters banter with each other, there's good writing and there's good voice acting. Like between Xenoblade and Last Story, or I mean, I should say after Xenoblade and Last Story, I don't want North Americans touching any translation to any RPG ever again.
Didn't the accents just seem like they fit so
It it just
perfectly?
fit, and well, me personally, I love like British television and British movies.
Hmm.
So,
And no, I haven't watched Sherlock yet. Go ahead.
oh, we can do an entire podcast episode just on the Sherlock episodes. But anyway, and it seemed like in both games, not only did they fit, but like it almost seemed like the actors took it more seriously. You
It
know,
did. It
you
really
know,
did.
especially with Xenoblade. Like Last Story was good, but I really feel like Xenoblade had like one of the best uh vocal tracks ever in games, like hands down best.
I agree. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so
Um.
glad we got these games. And Last
Yeah.
Story just, I hear Pandora's Tower getting knocked, but yeah, we're talking about Last Story now. But amazing voice acting, amazing cast.
Yeah.
So
In the battle system, like when I first started playing it, I was like, man, this battle system is really not that great. I mean, it's kind of easy, but then I really started to think about it, and it really kind of took me almost to the end of the game where I was like, you really have a lot of freedom in this
you
battle
do,
system.
you do, yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of strategy involved with, I know, like, placing the spell, like where those circles are, weighing the pros and cons of, well, do I want to, blast this heal circle away to heal everybody, or do I want to keep it here to keep, running through? You, especially when you get towards the end, you really have to sort of think, like, how you want to approach things.
Yeah, I can point out one of the there's an arena in the game where you can go to kind of like gladiator style. You go in, just do some arena matches. And to be honest, that's where I had like my second toughest fight. Other than I'll tell you about my online experience here in a second.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
where I
were
had
going
my
to do that.
we were. That was my second toughest fight was in that arena because you have your party with you and the enemy I was fighting in there, when you hit it with fire, it was healing it. Well, they sent in Yurik with me, and he's healing this monster the whole time. So I
That
had to
oh,
let Yurik die. I was like, dude, you gotta die because you're healing this guy.
that was
So
that was a frustration that I forgot to talk about in my video was sort of the stupidity of the AI at times because I think it was the sea cave. You're fighting all those water-based reptids, and
mm-hmm.
Lowell's just running around casting ice spells.
Casting
Like,
his ice and water.
and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Stop it!
So yeah, little things like that, like you wish you could make minor adjustments to. Like, yes, a journal would have been great for this game to keep
Yeah,
track of certain things. Maybe, like again, Dragon Age, you can set up attack schemes for the characters, and you could erase them from doing that when you get into certain battles. But overall, I felt like they tried to go out on a limb to do something different. I'm glad they did try to do something, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the cover system. I abuse that like crazy because the AI is retarded as no get out sometimes. You can just hide behind something and they forget you're there and just slash them again. But I love running up the wall instead of using Gale. I know you could use Gale, but I have more fun running up a wall and doing it that way. But I just thought it was a blast.
yeah. I could never really get the vertical slice to work very well.
Yeah, because it would kind of, you'd have to run to the wall some a little bit. You're like, come on, man, climb up this wall.
Yeah,
But I had
especially
fun
that
doing it.
there was a battle where the battle with that black squid thing where you kind of had to use the vertical
Yeah.
slice. That was frustrating as well.
And another hiccup I kind of had with the game is that you can use the environment in the game, you guys, kind of like do destruction, maybe drop a chandelier or whatever, rocks onto an enemy, make a bridge collapse. And I was having problems. I'd highlight the area and I'd shoot it with my crossbow or something, and it's not falling. Like they're telling me I need to destroy it, and it won't fall down. Like, well, I'm doing what you're telling me to do, and it's not falling apart. And then we just end the battle, then it falls apart after I'm done.
Yeah. Were you
So
using like burst arrows?
yeah, I made
Okay.
sure I'd stocked up on those things and would use bursts all the time. Which people say, you guys, that this crossbow's not strong. Just make sure you have the right arrows on that thing, and you can take out enemies pretty good in it. And use that
I
to snipe people.
I had the fast fast crossbow equipped, and you could just rapid fire that thing. And yeah, you might not be able to kill a monster with it, which I think you can if you sneak attack it and headshot it.
Hmm.
If you're stealthy and headshot, I think it's an instant kill. But you can definitely drop their HP down really quick before a battle starts with that thing.
If you equip some sorcerer arrows, man, 2 shots to a mage, they're
Yeah,
gone. So
yeah.
just stuff like that. And I want to mention there was one more thing I guess while they made it, like I said, the game was a little simple. I kind of breezed through the battles, but that didn't mean it didn't have fun battles. I wanted to mention there was a dungeon, my favorite dungeon in the game. Maybe you could answer yours too, but the haunted house area
Oh
I
yeah.
thought was just that was my favorite dungeon. Just the whole thing with your party members, what's happening to them in the boss fight at the end. That was just so much fun to me. That whole battle, just the boss and everything, and the whole area.
Yeah, the only problem with that though is like, and it's a problem with the crossbow because and maybe it's just because I didn't have the crossbow sensitivity up high enough, but I'd go into like the first person mode to shoot the bow, and like the cursor was just so slow to move,
And that enemy was so
so
fast.
fast, and you can only hit them with like silver arrows, and you only have like one or two at a time.
And I made sure because you kind of had a pattern after a while. Which
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fight. I don't know if this was an optional one or not, but I mean, it's a boss that's immune to anything till you do something to it, and then you can wail on it. But the boss was just running around this haunted house, and you gotta run him down. So that was fun because you kind of had to cut them off at the pass and stuff, and it was just a lot of fun.
Took a while.
And if your enemies die, they get taken to a graveyard and stuff, and you lose them. And that whole dungeon was just amazing. I really liked it. Really creative.
Yeah.
So, but I love the game. I beat in what 20 hours, 21 hours. It could have used a little bit more character development, but I like the length of it. Like you said, I thought it did its part. Graphics were grayish, but maybe that was setting tone for the game. That
Yeah,
was
I
just setting
mean,
the vibe for the game.
it's one of those things where they keep saying that the land is dying, so I understand like the muted color palette,
Hmm.
but it's just like after a game like Xenoblade where it's admittedly not HD, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
boo hoo, but easily one of the prettiest games made this generation. Just
easy.
from the yeah, it's so to go from that to Last Story, it does seem kind of drab.
And if I would recommend anything, just do yourselves a favor for this game. Just don't go. Yes, you could probably go through most of it just hacking and slashing away, but I mean, do yourself a favor and mess with the battle system. Use the command system. Use the spells, and get the most out of that as you can to let yourself enjoy it. Don't unless you want to play it as a hack and slash by all means, but you're really missing something out if you don't give this game a try. Which, like we were going to mention, we saw some reviews. Destructoid giving the game a 4.
Yeah,
Game Informer giving it a 6. I
yeah.
mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but sometimes you're just like, what? If everyone else is giving it an 8 or a 7 at least, like mass majority, wouldn't you think something's
Well,
wrong with you for giving it a 4?
you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I think EGM also gave it. One of the guys gave it kind of a bad score. Let me grab the issue real quick. Got it right here. I think, and it's like the guy that's on there who's like the self-proclaimed JRPG nut too. He was like talking
Hmm,
about how he didn't like it. Let me see what. Let me just talk about something real quick.
that's fine. I'll just keep yakking about the game because
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
loved it that much. I really wish my Wii didn't crap out on me, but so I could finish those epilogues. But if you want a nice, simple love story tale, amazing soundtrack, what we hadn't talked about yet, which Duts and Lucky Dog has a whole soundtrack, but the premium is okay for me right now. It's just a great game. You got to get it, you guys, before you can't find it anywhere.
Okay, maybe it was the issue before this one. It might have been, but the same guy. Did you get Theater Rhythm?
No, I did download the demo. I haven't bought that one yet
Well,
because
everyone
I
I'm
haven't
talking
played a lot of the games and I didn't want to spoil.
Yeah, everyone I'm talking to says it's really good. And then like the self-proclaimed JRPG Final Fantasy nut gave it a 4.5.
Theater Rhythm?
Yeah.
Oh,
So like
wow.
I mean, you have to take these reviews as like a grain of salt, you know.
Yeah.
It's just one person's opinion, which is why I don't like doing reviews because really I just want to talk about the game, talk about what I like and didn't like. And I think giving it a
Yeah.
score is kind of a stupid thing anyway. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if it's just like we're so used to these new games, this new blockbuster game type thing, where everything has to be like a AAA game, and I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it seems like people just like to bash on things nowadays.
Yeah. If you're a JRPG fan, though, you should enjoy this game for the story alone. Combat's fun. You still got your armor and everything upgrades.
You know,
It's
you know
it's
what I
fun.
really liked? Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, you're fine.
now that it just popped in my head why I like the story so much, because it reminded me of like old school Final Fantasy IV. That yes, the story is kind of simple, but it has those archetypes there for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it really. I guess that's kind of Mistwalker's MO in a way, because Blue Dragon was a really kind of old school experience, kind of an old school like almost Dragon Quest type experience. Lost Odyssey was kind of an old school Final Fantasy feel to it. And while this game does a lot of new stuff with the combat and things like that, it's really the storytelling. It's just classic RPG storytelling.
Yeah. And it's one of those games that make you think about when you see how like your enemies, the Garak, you see how things are for them over there. It's
Hmm.
another you're torn like, wow, this is their life, and the thing you're trying to be, a knight, it throws a curveball at you with like, do you really want to be a knight? Because how they're treating people and everything, it's
Yeah.
traditional stuff, but it was a great story. Visually, like I said, great game for the Wii. Has some slowdown problems, yes, which sometimes were very frustrating,
Yeah.
but you can get through those. Soundtrack, which Justin probably has better knowledge of because he has the whole thing. The main theme, Dustin, the main theme,
Hmm.
and I think it's at 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the main theme. It deserves its own track.
Yeah.
But the main thing of the game at 224, from playing it on out from there, is to me the best sound in the game. It's kind of like that sound when you're going into battle or something good just happened. I wish I could hum it with my voice, but I can't. It's
Yeah.
just such a rewarding sound. I wish I could just play it, or we could insert clip here and you could hear it, but we're not that fancy yet.
Oh no, I can do it. I can do it with the editing software. I can do it.
Okay, well, if he can, you you will hear
If you hear
after.
music, then I was successful. If you don't hear music, then I'm lazy. There you go.
I think it's at the 2 minute and 24 second mark of the main theme, and just for about 30 seconds or so, you'll get the gist of it. And I just love hearing that sound in the game.
How
But
much did how much did you mess around with the like armor customization stuff?
as far as I made sure I was leveling stuff up all the time.
No,
I
no, 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 no,
I
no.
loved it when I finally got that rare item to. Or what are you
I'm
talking
just
about?
I'm just talking about just the appearance and like changing the colors of your armor and stuff like that. Because I was constantly messing with that.
I kept a set theme color for each character, and of course I took Celine's top off. I mean,
Yeah,
it
you
just
had
fit
to.
her better to not have
Yeah.
her shirt on.
Well, that's how the artwork is.
Exactly, it just fit her character, so I
We're
made her invisible.
we're not disgusting people. That's just how the official artwork is.
I mean, it just seemed like it fit her. I mean, it's covering up plenty on her. It
Yeah.
just seemed like how she would walk around. I was like, this is her character. She
I,
would be walking around like this.
I had like for each person, I had like because you could save the different color schemes for your armor.
Yeah, you're right.
So I,
Which, yes,
each
people, you customize armor color and stuff in this game.
Yeah. So like I was trying to get as much dye as I can, which I couldn't find a lot of the ingredients for the dyes. But each person had like a different, colored outfit and everything. I had like four saved for Zale, and I was constantly changing them. Like how I had like a white uniform for him and like a black uniform. And
I
like
did too. I
when he
think I had
was
black form, yeah.
yeah, and like when the storyline was kind of making him seem like a good guy, I'd put him in the white uniform, and he was kind of a bad guy, I'd put him in the black uniform.
Nice. That is a good idea.
Yeah. It's just one of those little things that kind of adds to your connection to the game, I guess.
I think with Zale, I kept my main scheme for him though was I got a Dante feel off of him, so he was black and red was his like color theme for me. It fit well. It looked good on him with his white hair.
Well, that's another thing. Callista and that white hair.
What a lovable character. She was great. But yes, before we drag it on too long, last story's great. So everyone play it.
Yeah, go buy it. Give Xseed your money.
and you can tune into my video if you want. But yeah, watch Dustin's. He'll give you his feel on his discussion. But some more stuff I've been playing. Now I gotta think of what I've been playing now. Played Last Story before it crapped out on me. And then, I mean, I had played 13. I played 13-2. I played Last Story, all these RPGs. I really wanted to start blowing stuff up. I was in the mood to just have some reckless fun. And my buddy had lent me Red Faction Armageddon. I don't know if you're really into the Red Faction series or not, Dustin.
Was that one? What system was that on?
It's on 360 and PS3,
Okay.
I believe. It's the newest one that came out.
The only one I've played was the original one on PS2.
That was I only played Red Faction, the first one on PC. That is it. So I tried Gorilla, like my buddy had that, and I just didn't like it. But he's like, listen, you're gonna like this game. It's like Dead Space on crack, and you can blow everything up. I was like, okay. So I took it home. I was like, well, this is the time for this game because I just want to have some mindless fun. Wow, that game was freaking awesome.
Really?
For a third person shooter style, I had so much fun because the weapons in that game, and it's like a space setting hunting aliens, and you could just destroy anything. You could take your big axe and hammer down a concrete building and just make it collapse. And
Yeah.
I just had so much fun being a fool, just running around blowing things up. And as a special incentive, when you finish the game, it's new game plus stuff, and it gives you a special gun, which is a My Little Pony that you're holding in your hands. And it's like you're aiming the rear end of it everywhere, just shooting farts that are like rockets out at everything. And it's hilarious. I think it's called Toots. That's the name of the gun.
Dudes.
I mean, just mindless fun. I just had a
Yeah.
blast. Just the story, your average sci-fi story, trying to save the world or whatever, this planet that you're on. Typical characters that you have in your shooters, Gears of War and everything. But I just had so much fun just blowing things up and all the different weapon types you get. I think there's a weapon that it just automatically dissolves the enemy like a nano gun. You shoot them and they just dissipate in the air, they disappear. There's a weapon that's a line gun. You shoot them with one side of it, then you shoot it again halfway across the map, and they go flinging to wherever the line went. So just mindless fun, and I got my fill of blowing things up from that game. So I had a great time with it. Short 10-hour game, and it was fun. So I recommend that to anyone who likes third-person action shooters. Give it a try because it looks good. For a THQ game too, they did a good job on it. So
Is it one of the? Would you consider it to be one of those games, kind of like Grand Theft Auto or like Just Cause, where it's like just more fun to screw around than it is to actually play the game?
well, since it's pretty well, I can't compare it to those two because it is fun just to screw around. But since it's so linear, you can only have so
Oh,
much
okay.
fun. It's not like it's a linear like Gears of War style game, but it is fun just the different ways you can try to kill the guys and see if you want to just collapse a building on them and stuff like that. Upgrade the weapons. It is fun as far as that stuff, but not as in depth as screwing around in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've also been playing, like I was talking about my Vita. I downloaded. I'm still playing that Mutant Tales game from the first one, the Mutant Blob game, because that's just one of those games when I'm in the mood to just piddle around and play something real quick, knock out a level or two in that. And also, I downloaded, like I said, I was in a shooter kick. I really wanted to play a shooter, and the only one I could find on the Vita that looked halfway interesting was one called WTF. What's that flying? With a question mark.
Sure, that's what it means.
Yeah, that's what the name of the game is, and I think it was out for PSP, but since you can download PSP games on here, then I just downloaded it on there. It was a PSP digital download. It's the same art style as like Alien Hominid and the games like that, like the graphic style. Familiar with those games, Castle Crashers,
So it's kind of a
cartoon.
cartoony, cel-shaded type thing.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
graphics like that, but it kind of mixes things up. And I don't really know too much about shooters. I just dibble dabble with them. But with this one, you don't have a health bar. In this game, you can get hit as many times as you want. But the whole concept is you're this protector of Earth. You're like an alien protecting Earth, and each other planet has its own protector. And you start the game, you're under trial because apparently Earth got destroyed because of you. and it's going through your storyline of you trying to protect it. And the Earth has a health meter each stage. If an enemy gets by you, it knocks off a point of health. So that's kind of how the health system works in this game. You don't want any enemies to get behind you. You want to make sure you're killing everything. The only disappointment I'm kind of having with it is like power up system. That's what like shooters are all about, right? You want that cool power up, spread shots, and all that stuff. This one, the power up system on it is just like a 3-tier system. Once you kill enough enemies, you hit the square button, and for about 10 seconds, you have rapid fire. Then it goes away. Then you gotta wait till you get up enough chain to build up a level 2 unlock. And that's just another unlock, and then a third one, but it's not a permanent unlock. It's just for a couple seconds to help you clear some screens when the enemies are overrunning you or something, I guess. But I guess it has to deal with the type of game it is with not having like lives or health meter or anything like that. So, but that was a little disappointing because I wanted a shooter like I was mentioning to you, that one for the iPad that Mark had reviewed. I wanted a classic one like that, but I just can't find one anywhere to play to download. So, any recommendations, shoot them at me. I got Death Smiles, but I've already played through that enough. I wanted something different. Let's see. What else did I have before I get into Final Fantasy VI? I think that's it. I want to say that's all I had. And then I started up Final Fantasy VI finally. Dustin's Final Fantasy game of choice. And I'm 14 hours into it, and it's a fun game. But I don't think I'm going to like it more than 13. And this is why. And I can't believe I'm saying this because it wouldn't really, I didn't think it would matter, but because I love sprite-based graphics, but I think that's what's doing it. I think I'm getting a better connection with the characters in 13 and 13.2 because I'm seeing them there talking, interacting, holding each other, seeing the emotion on them. And when you go back to a classic one, you're just seeing the text. And there's only so much they can do, which I'm impressed with what this game can do with when it came out. But I just think I can connect with characters better in 13 than I can connect to the ones in this game, if that makes any sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah. You said you're 14 hours in?
I'm 14 hours in. If I'll try to tell you where I'm at without giving anything away. Actually, I'm at a part where the bad guys tried to trick me, and then they went bad. If that makes sense.
What location are you in?
Oh, I'd have to turn it on real quick to find out. I forget what it's called.
Are you in? Oh wait, are you in Vector?
Oh no, I'm way past that.
Okay. Oh, so you're getting. I think I know you're at. Because you went to Vector for the banquet.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Okay.
I could tell you where I can. I'm pulling up a guide right now because yes, I have to use a guide for this one. Okay, I am. While I'm making everybody wait.
Dead air.
Do.
This was television, you'd be fired right now.
I am at Mount Zozo, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
It was after Daryl's Tomb, Miranda, Zozo, Mount Zozo. No, I did all that. Doma Castle.
So are you in the second half of the game?
Not in the ruin yet, if that's what you're asking. World of Ruin. Okay. I'm about to go into the World of Ruin, pretty much. So that's floating. There you go. Floating. I'm sorry, I went too far ahead.
You're at the floating.
I'm at floating continent.
Okay. So have you spoiled yourself on this story? Has this story been spoiled for you? Do you know what happens here in the middle?
I don't know anything about this story.
Okay. I will talk to you after you finish the floating continent.
Okay. And this is what's happening. I'm getting
because it's something.
I'm getting to a point where I might take a break.
Yeah. Because what happens is something that hardly ever happens in a video game. And it hardly ever happens in like just narrative at all. Like the only other thing I can think of it happening in is like The Watchmen.
Ooh, Watchmen.
So yeah.
Oh, Ooh, okay. Now I'm intrigued.
So I will talk. So let
Well,
me just when we get past the floating continent, then we'll talk. And if you still think 13 is the better story after this, I'm gonna throw something at you.
well, I want to say it's pretty cool. Like, I'm really impressed with what they're being able to do. Like I said, like with the graphics and stuff they're doing in the game.
hmm
But and some of the characters are really cool. But I don't know. I'm not getting that connection like I really wanted to get. And like I said, I'm 14 hours in, and I'm on that floating continent, and I'm in a kind of confusing puzzle-ish trying to
Yeah,
find my way around this continent. You gotta go down these sinkholes, and it pops you up
yeah.
somewhere else. And I'm going in circles, and and random battles are happening like every 2 seconds, and it's getting frustrating. And I don't know. It's just I was getting kind of bored. I was like, man, I just don't know if I want to continue. But I want to push through it to finish it. But I don't know. I don't
Would
want to
you?
say your game is bad because it's fun, and I like how the Esper system and stuff works. But it feels kind of cheap. I can get everyone the same moves. But
Well, they have individual like job moves,
yeah, they
but
still got their
everyone
individual.
can have the same magic. Yeah.
Which it leads me into, man, I feel like everyone's like special move is way overpowered, and I could just spam that the whole game, and that's all I'm needing to do right now. And I mean, if I guess I want to make it tougher on myself, I don't need to, but why not just blitz
No.
the guy every time or
No.
use the
Yeah. Just.
chainsaw or the drill? Which, by the way, the chainsaw Jason mask whole thing,
That
he's my
awesome.
favorite character right now, by the way.
Edgar.
He's my favorite, yes. He's with that, especially when he put the chainsaw and got the mask on. Which,
Yeah.
sorry for spoiling that for anyone, but you can get a chainsaw weapon in Final Fantasy VI, and
But that's an optional weapon. Like you can play the entire game without getting that weapon.
yeah, you gotta venture off to get, you gotta kind of
Yeah.
go out your way to get this weapon. So, but
What did you think of the opera scene?
I can't believe like that's one of those things I can't believe they achieved on a system like with the dancing and everything going on,
Yeah.
or when you first go in there and the musicians pop up on the screen like scrolling up. I was really impressed by it, but I don't know,
Well,
was it supposed to be corny or something? I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
no. Have you ever heard like the actual like vocal track like from Distant Worlds or when they actually have people singing the?
That's where there was a vocal track in this one, but I don't know if it's like
Oh, does this one have updated music or something?
yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, well, I guess I can mention I own Final Fantasy VI for the Game Boy Advance, but I finally, if you saw my pickups video, I just now got an SP to play it, but I started playing this game before I picked up that SP, and I'm playing it on PSP. I got a hacked PSP that I put an emulator on, and it is a GBA version of the game, but with the SNES soundtrack and
Oh, okay. So it is the actual
SNES graphics.
SNES soundtrack.
Yeah, it has all the
Okay.
SNES sound in it. So I did hear vocals and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah,
think they really fit with the game, but it still sound cool.
but no, here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about that music is if you hear the actual like people singing the real words to the song and then you go back and listen to the Super Nintendo version, the voices almost match. Like you can hear them singing the words.
I want to say I could hear him singing the words in this, like they're
Yeah,
saying something. Yeah,
I know, but that is like mind-blowing. That I mean, because I mean, there's speech on the Super Nintendo, like Star Fox has it, Star Ocean has it, but
taking
there's
wing
just
damage.
yeah, but there's just something about that scene, like that's the big set piece that everyone kind of talks about with Final Fantasy VI. But
But I'll do a full review when I finish. But so
yeah,
far, I'm still leaning toward 13. But
well,
and people are like, what kind of gamer is this guy? But hey, that's people have different tastes. So,
yeah,
it's still a fun game though. I
yeah.
liked it. And I did have one more I was playing. I'll mention two more things. I just finished watching. I know someone was getting a little bit zombied out, but I just finished Walking Dead season 2. Watched the finale like an hour before I got on here on Blu-ray, and I just love that series. And I just thought the ending of that. Have you been keeping up with that, Dustin, or did you kind of give up on it?
No, no, no. I watched it to the end.
Season 2,
Yeah,
awesome. But
and I think that as the season, I think as it got close to the end, especially at the end, I was like, oh boy, it's back. But
mhm.
that entire time of being on the farm, I was like, come on, can we have something happen here? You know?
Which for me, I have the two first. Well, I bought the two. I forget what we need to have Jonathan on here to explain. I got the two comics, but it's like four or five of them in one. It's like a volume. I got volume 1 and 2, and it's like I'm like, man, this thing ain't following the comic at all. There's people alive who should be dead, which things get rectified in season 2. But it's I know Shane is like this evil dude they're making him out to be, but I kind of really liked his character so much.
Yeah.
Like the scene with the barn. I won't say too much, but the scene with the barn and the little speech he gives before all that goes down, awesome, awesome stuff.
I
But
think season 2 had some good moments, but I think it's partly because season 1 was so much shorter that
that could be.
they didn't have to pad things out as much.
But season 2, last 2 or 3 episodes are really good. Really looking forward to season 3 when that comes out. But since I finished that off, I also downloaded the first episode in the Walking Dead adventure game from Telltale, and I had a blast. I'm having a blast with that one too. It's really short. I'm almost finished with it, but it's the first adventure game I played in a while. It's just kind of like a point and click. You can also move around in the game though, like control the character in the. You could be in a backyard and walk around and explore the backyard and stuff. And it's really cool. Like if you're a Walking Dead fan, definitely check out these adventure games. They're coming out with episode 1, 2, and I think 3's about to come out or just now came out. Don't know if I want to buy the rest of them though, Dustin, because they're going to have 5 of them, and they're going to put them all on a disc, maybe like they did Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I should hold off. They're only 400 points a piece though, so it's so tempting to buy them and play them.
Well, I mean, go ahead, because I mean, I bought Journey on PSN, but I went out and bought the collector's edition when it came out.
Is that out now?
Yeah.
Like all 3 games in one?
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Sometime last week.
Oh my goodness! I gotta go buy a game.
The only thing I'm upset about is that the soundtracks you have to download them like on PSN or something.
Okay.
They're not physical soundtracks, and I don't know if I can get them off of there. You know what I mean? To like my computer, so I can burn them on a CD or not. I don't know.
Is it a special box thing or anything, or just a regular game?
It's just a regular. It's just a regular game case.
Okay. Cool. I gotta go get that then tomorrow. But anyway, definitely The Walking Dead. If you like adventure style games, check that out. Because like I said, they're only 400 points apiece, and I'm having a blast with this first one. The characters and stuff are really cool. They're kind of throwing some characters in there from the TV series once in a while. I already had to make some tough decisions in this first one. It's going to put you in situations where you're going to have to choose a life over another, and stuff like that gets hard. So pretty cool game, and it's 400 points, you can't beat it. So, but anyways, other than that, I think that's all I can remember that I've been playing. So yeah, that's it for me. What about you, Dustin?
Well, I have also been playing The Last Story, but we've already talked about that, so we don't need to talk about that anymore. I put in the first Witcher game on my PC, and unfortunately, my PC can run it, but I have to run it on very low settings. So I'm debating on whether I want to continue with it or not, because there's supposed to be rumors of them going to consoleize it again. So
yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
I'm debating. I mean, it's a nice set to have anyway because it has a whole bunch of stuff in it. I was actually watching some of the production diaries before we started podcasting, and I love the world of The Witcher because I've read the books, or at least 2. I've read 2 of the books, and I really love the world of The Witcher, and I really want to play the games. But I'm eventually going to play Witcher 2, but I feel like I should play Witcher 1 first. So I don't know. It's a debate on whether I want to continue with this sort of subpar PC version. Steven, what are you doing over there?
Uh-oh, what happened?
Everything you're doing is very loud.
I opened the door so I could let my dog out to use the bathroom. I'm sorry.
You let that dog pee on the floor. So yeah, playing that. Played about, I don't know, maybe a half hour of that and had a good time. But I don't know if I want to keep doing it. If I have to play it like an old school Baldur's Gate style game, I don't know. It feels like it should be played over the shoulder. Downloaded Final Fantasy Dimensions on the iPad. Actually, I've been playing my iPad a lot, and I've been really enjoying Final Fantasy Dimensions. If you love old school Final Fantasy and kind of miss, I know Steven just started talking about how he hates Final Fantasy VI and old school Final Fantasy,
Worst
but
game ever.
but if you miss um, that style of gameplay, you definitely need to check this out. It is expensive for an iOS game. The whole thing's going to run you about $30 when it's all said and done. But if this was released on the PlayStation or PlayStation Portable, it'd still be $30. So I don't see why people are complaining about that. Maybe because it's not physical. I don't know, but it really makes me kind of hope that they do more of this stuff. Like if Square Enix, if this is successful for Square Enix, hopefully they'll continue to make more of these sort of I don't know what you would call them, mobile Final Fantasies, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah.
really been enjoying it so far. It has the job system from Final Fantasy V. So if you guys love the job system, definitely check it out. I was also playing this shooter on the iPad called Phoenix HD, and I really enjoy it. It's more of like a boss rush or boss rush type of game where there are some smaller enemies, but for the most part you're fighting medium to very large style ships. And if I remember correctly, the game was a buck, and then it has microtransactions. So that kind of sucks, but to get like the online leaderboards, it's a buck. When you buy it, there's only one ship open to you, and there's three other ships, and they're each a buck. So I mean,
Okay, I understand.
yeah, you can kind of throw in however much money you want to with it. Um, but it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of making me want to delve more into other shooters on the iPad because I really like using the touch screen as a controller because I bought a screen protector that's got a matte finish to it. Because when I would play with just my finger on the normal screen, it would get stuck and like kind of sweaty. So I'd have to switch fingers and then switch hands. But with a matte finish screen protector, it really controls very smoothly. And then the third game, which I only put a couple, maybe like a half hour into, was called Ash, and it's kind of an old school throwback RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy Dimensions, but it feels a lot more like Dragon Warrior in a lot of ways. And once I get done with Final Fantasy Dimensions, I'll jump back into Ash, and then we'll do a game discussion for it.
Now, was
But
that shooter you played? Was that a vertical, horizontal? What kind
It's
of
a
was
ver-
it?
it's a vertical shooter. It's kind of like a bullet hell, but if I say bullet hell, instantly my brain goes to like Mushihime-sama, and it's not that many bullets on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an easier kind of bullet hell type shooter.
Because while you're
Um,
talking about shooters, I don't know. It's just a thing where vertical would be my second choice. I'm a fan of horizontal first, and then it would be vertical. But I cannot get into the ones where you're like just moving around in the one stationary spot. Things are coming at you in a circle type of shooter. I cannot get into those at
oh,
all. Period.
like Robotron.
Yes,
Okay. Did,
I just cannot get into shooters like that. But
did you ever play
horizontal
Did
and
you ever play
vertical.
Galaxy Wars
No,
360?
didn't.
You should download that.
Oh, is that like Geometry Wars
Oh,
setup?
Geometry Wars. That's
Yeah.
what I was talking about. What the hell's Galaxy?
Geometry Wars, I did play some of that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We used to just sit there and just trade the controller back and forth and play that game. And it was so funny because we had all these other. This was like 2006, 2007, something like that, at a friend's house. There's all these other great games over there, and all we could do was sit there and play Geometry Wars.
But
That's the power of a good game. But
anyway, sorry to interrupt there, but go ahead.
yeah, whatever. Let's see. Other than that, I've been playing some, trying to get back into Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and that's been derailed by Final Fantasy Dimensions. But when I originally bought it and played it, I wasn't really getting into it. It was just something with the control scheme and having to select your items with the D-pad while trying to run around with the sliding pad. Is just like it was
Yeah.
really frustrating. I got to the end of Ventus's story, and during one of the boss battles, I could not beat him because I couldn't get my items or heal spells up quick enough because of that damn D-pad. Trying to run around and dodge stuff, and then also use the D-pad to select my items. It wasn't working. I got frustrated with it, and something else came out, so I shelved it. So I want to play Dream Drop Distance, but I feel like I should play Birth by Sleep first. So I went back to it, and I've been playing through Terra's story, and I was actually really enjoying my time with it. I couldn't believe, that I had that kind of impression of the game from the first time around. I actually thought it was a pretty mediocre game, but now that I'm playing it again, I'm actually really enjoying my time with it, and I'll be getting back to it as soon as I get done with Final Fantasy Dimensions.
Yeah, and that's one. See, Dustin's talking, and that got me to remember that. I forgot it's been so long now since we recorded. I did play that too. That was when I played, and I beat Terra's Story during my vacation earlier this month. And it was one of those things where, like you were saying with the D-pad, and maybe there was, and I couldn't figure it out. But you know how you can set up your like three sets of D-pad configurations in the menu?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I wish there was a way where you could have your three set up and there's a way to quickly switch between the three, you know?
Yeah.
It just seemed like you didn't have enough moves kind of mapped to the selection of the D-pad, or I would get confused. Should I use a heal spell and bring potions in just in case? And just got kind of limited on the stuff you could do. But it was okay with me. I was really excited about wanting to play it because, like you said, I wanted to play Dream Drop Distance 2. I had great memories with the first Kingdom Hearts, and I wanted to really get into the series again. But couldn't connect to it like I did when I first played the first game. So I beat Terra's, and I'm working on Penta's story, but don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I just don't have the drive to. The story didn't hook me that much, and I'm a little disappointed because I wish it would. Because I used to be really into Kingdom Hearts, and I don't know. I just felt like I was mashing away and just wasn't getting anything out of it.
I think the problem with Kingdom Hearts is it's kind of a situation of diminishing returns, where like the first like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, you're like, oh man, this is awesome, running around in these Disney worlds with these Final Fantasy characters there also and all this stuff, and then it's just there's been so many games that it's like the thrill of that is gone because it's like how many times do we have to go back to Cinderella, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I gotta do the Cinderella story again. Okay, bippity boppity boo, yeah, hooray.
I think the thing I was most excited for in the when Dream Drop Distance is I saw they were in Tron, and I don't know if they did another game in that or if it's in any of the other ones, but I want to play in that world so bad, so that's why I really want to play Dream Drop Distance.
And I don't know if it's just something like Disney's not letting them have very much license with the characters, but I think there should be more interaction with the Disney characters instead of just going there and it's like, oh, we're going to play a truncated version of the movie. You know, it feels like I don't even know how to word it to you, but it feels like there should be this epic war going on, and like the Beast should be like, commanding troops to fight the darkness and stuff like that. It feels like all the worlds are very removed from everything that's going on.
Yeah, and even in like Birth by Sleep, I'm used to Kingdom Hearts 1 and stuff, and having Donald and Goofy with me, I kind of miss having them by my side. And I remember in that game being able to summon like Dumbo and everyone to come and like be like summons. And I mean, there's nothing like that in this game either. So I kind of miss stuff like that.
It just like when I first started playing the games, it was like this is great. But then I started seeing like basically how pussyfooted they're being with the subject material. Like I feel like there should be some epicness here. Like, you know what?
He wants to see Mickey get stabbed in the chest.
You know
Revenge.
what? No. I'm not talking about stuff like that. But you know, have like the Heartless attack like Tarzan's tree and set it on fire or something.
Yeah, burn it. Yeah, like burn it to the ground. Yeah, something like that.
Have some world-changing events in this thing. You know, make her really. It feels like the only characters that have any kind of storyline is the main characters. Like the world is, it's like who cares? It's just window dressing that you're running through the 100-acre woods.
Have Halloween Town get decorated in Easter stuff.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, you know, that's just my gripe with the Kingdom Hearts series in general. You know, when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, I'm going to buy it. I'm still having fun playing Birth by Sleep, but yeah. And then sort of really what I've been playing here this last week is I just finished the novel of Bioshock Rapture that tells the story of how Rapture was built. And that book, I mean, basically, you don't really need the book
How do you find out about these books? I did not know
Oh,
Bioshock had a book.
I didn't know about it either. And then Undead Space Monkey, he like wrote to me. He's like, "Hey, if you like Bioshock, you should read the book." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then eventually he just sent me that package that had the novel of Alan Wake, and that book.
That's right. I forgot that unboxing. You had that
Yeah,
in
so
there.
I finally read it, which I really loved it when I read the book. But then when I played, it really wanted me to play Bioshock again. So I threw Bioshock One in, and I was playing through Bioshock One, and I was like, wow, really everything that's in that book is in the video or the taped messages.
Okay, so real quick, that book, it's not the first game though, right? It's like a pre.
It's it's telling the story about how Andrew Ryan built Rapture.
Okay. Okay,
But a
cool.
lot of the storyline that's in it you get from the audio diaries in both games. And
Okay.
you really shouldn't read the book until you've beat both games.
So there you go, guys. Make sure you play the games first before you
Yeah,
read.
because I'm playing Bioshock 2 right now, which I've never played Bioshock 2 before. And it's kind of spoiled a little bit of stuff in Bioshock 2. But that's
Two
okay, because
got two got a lot of hate, but I really liked it. What are you thinking so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I mean,
Okay.
there's some things. I mean, it seems like Delta is not too interesting of a character, but I have a feeling there's going to be a twist with him, perhaps. But I just love the entire world of Rapture. Like
Are you
just
gonna
the
miss not being in Rapture anymore with the new one? You think?
well, see, here's the thing, because BioShock 2 was not made by Irrational Games. They went on to do
Hmm.
other things. I'm wondering if like 2K Marin, who made BioShock 2, is going to make a BioShock 3 because they're still talking about making a BioShock 3. BioShock
You're
Infinite is not
you're
BioShock
yeah.
3.
You know you're right. I never thought about that. I didn't think of
Yeah.
that.
And but the thing is, I don't know. I mean, the problem is they set BioShock 2 10 years after the fall of Rapture. So to move to move into the 70s with Rapture, I mean, I feel like after, 1968, which BioShock 2 is set, no one's upkeeping Rapture. It's going to eventually just completely flood and you know what I mean? There's going to be
Yeah.
no one left there. After, Jack killed everybody and then now Delta's going around killing all the other splicers, I feel like there's going to be no one really left there. I don't know how they're going to do the story, but yeah, man, there's just something about the whole sort of Ayn Randness of Bioshock One and how it really took on that sort of wild right wing capitalist mindset, and then Bioshock Two takes on sort of the left wing mindset, and how when you really kind of think about it, it shows us the two extremes and how both extremes don't work, and how we really have to have more of a centrist view on things too.
I just
Uh,
remember having the not meaning to interrupt you, but the greatest memories with that game with it first coming out. Remember, I downloaded the demo. Me and my roommate at the time, we were just sitting in my dark apartment, and I wanted him to play it first. And the demo started out with the first part of the game, you falling in the water, and this is Bioshock One. You're in the water and you're swimming to this entryway, and when you get in there, you take a couple steps forward, the door locks behind you and shuts, and it's pitch dark. My roommate, no joke, he dropped the controller, hit window key on the Xbox, and said, "I'm done," and wanted me to finish playing it just because that part freaked him out so much.
Well, I
But
mean, it is a
just so
it is a
great.
creepy game.
It is. It can. It is. It's. I would you it'd be under the horror part for me. It's a
Yeah,
horror game.
especially when you get to like Fort Frolic with Sander Cohen, and then like all of his plastered splicers.
Oh
How they
yeah.
just, especially when you walk in that one room and there's all these like ones in ballerina costumes like standing and like it's like six of them in a row, three on each side, and then you're walking down that hallway and you go around the corner and you find some items and stuff, and then when you come back to go back out of the room, they're all fucking gone. And you're like, oh god, it's just some creepy stuff. And especially there was a creepy one in two where you go into a bathroom and there's two closed stalls and there's sort of a corner in the bathroom you go around to get to like the sinks.
Hmm.
You go around to that sink and you hear somebody open the door to one of the stalls. So you go back around and no one's
And
there.
no one's there. Yeah.
But in the toilet you see an Eve hypo So you go in there and grab the Eve hypo, and then when you turn around, she's right behind you, like just like standing there.
I love it. I
I
love
know
it.
it's so good, but I love that whole. A lot of people, and I love steampunk too, but I really love diesel punk, and that's what Bioshock is. It's diesel punk, kind of like Sky Captain in the World of
Say,
Tomorrow.
please define diesel punk. Never heard the term before.
You've never heard? Okay. It's basically sort of that highly stylized Art Deco. Everything's made of kind of metal. Have you seen Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
No, haven't.
Okay. Trying to think of something else that's diesel punk.
I think I was being kind of snobby about it because isn't it like all digital or something? And I didn't really want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean the really what you should watch is like the short film that was made first, because basically what happened is that guy made a short film like in his house with a green screen, and
Hmm.
it's really awesome. And then like the movie people are like, hey, let's make a movie out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of something else that's but that very stylized 1930s 1940s, but just take it to like the wild extremes. Diesel punk, you know exactly what it is. You've played Bioshock. That's what it is.
Okay.
Sort of
There
how
we go.
Rapture uses sort of technology of the time, but it also kind of advances it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like how steampunk uses the nomenclature of the time, but does crazy things with it, like a steampunk computer. I've seen one of those. But the whole aesthetic of the 1930s and 1940s, I love it. I love running around. Fallout 3, it's diesel punk because
Oh,
it's
Fallout 3. Okay.
yeah,
Get what you're saying
um,
there. I love the music in Bioshock too, since you mentioned
yeah,
30s, 40s.
yeah. Which I've always been a fan of the ink spots because when I was growing up in my parents' like record collection, there was an ink spots record there, which they're the guys that sang like I don't want to set the world on fire, which is
Hmm.
from Fallout. But that whole that whole era, I don't know, it's just something about it. I mean I just love thinking about the world of Rapture and like everything that could we actually make that? Could we actually do that today?
It's fat, and then they just such a perfect. They picked the perfect time period, like to put people in it and everything. Just
Yeah,
that's one of the greatest games I've ever played. I could
yeah,
talk about that all day, but we're already probably well far into this. I don't
yeah.
know.
We're yeah. But I'm super excited about Bioshock Infinite. I think it's. I mean, I
Yes.
was watching things on it, and it's gonna be just as fantastic. So
Do you think there's going to be as much of a scare factor in that though, since you're
it's
light and sky?
I don't know because I mean there is a creepiness factor, especially if you've seen like the Boys of Silence. Have you seen
Yeah.
those? Yeah, like there is a creepiness factor with that, and like the Mechanical Patriot or whatever it's called. I don't know because I mean eventually you're gonna have to go inside buildings, so it's gonna get dark, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have that, or it doesn't seem to have the ruination that the depravity that Rapture has.
We'll see. I'm still looking forward to the one of my most look for. I'm so ticked when I heard it got pushed back again, but looking forward to that one.
Yeah, but
But I gotta cut you off again because you remind you ever play Condemned Criminal Origins?
no.
Okay, because when you mentioned the mannequin scene in Bioshock, Condemned Criminal Origins has the scariest mannequin scenes ever in it. So
Yeah.
if anyone
Have you
wants to
ever
get freaked out by mannequins, play that game.
have you ever played Silent Hill 3?
Never.
Okay.
My Silent Hill history is zero. Remember,
Oh,
I
that's
gotta play those games.
because like my cousin-in-law is playing them right now, or not my cousin-in-law. I guess that'd be the correct term. And I was talking to him, and I was like, "There's a scene in Silent Hill 3, and for all you guys that have played it, it involves a mirror and being trapped in a room. And I swear to you, to this day, that is still one of the most terrifying scenes that I've ever witnessed in a game. Like I was just like, I put the controller and I was like, no, 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 no. Like it's such a simple thing, but it like freaks you out. You need to play it.
Nice.
So I think
But
that's pretty
anyways,
much all I've been playing. Yeah, pretty much all I've been playing.
that's good quality stuff though. So
Yeah, gotta go finish Bio. I'm gonna try to finish Bioshock 2 this weekend, and then I'm gonna do a series discussion where I talk about the first game, the second game, and then the book as well.
that'd be cool. And I know this one might have went longer, guys, but Me and Dustin hadn't talked in a while. Been busy. I mean, there's plenty of stuff we didn't even get to touch on in this one. Dustin's been to distant worlds. He got to visit Time Walk. I mean, stuff we could have talked about, but if we keep going, we're gonna be hitting like 4 hours if we keep hitting all this stuff. This
Yeah.
would be cool to find out more about Time Walk and talk about that. But maybe we can
Well,
squeeze. If we get to do maybe 2 weeks, like we said, we want to do more often. Maybe we can hit that up in the
yeah.
next episode or something. Get more in depth into it about how that was.
We're
But anyways,
captains.
no free
Yeah.
stuff. That was sad. I didn't see you come back with a hand
No,
me out
well,
game.
like the way their business works is it's made to order. So they didn't. I mean,
There's
they
like
didn't
no
really have.
extras. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no extras lying around, and um, I emailed them that I was coming up on that day, but they hadn't checked the email yet. They hadn't checked their inbox. So it was kind of a surprise on them, which is really why I was so surprised that they let me do it because it was like,
I think you easily could have took that guy and took those games.
well, you have no
Easy.
idea. You have no idea the overwhelming urge to like grab and run because I saw everything there that I wanted to get, and I was like, oh,
That had to be a great experience. And then Distant World. Which one? I want to ask you one quick question about Distant Worlds because I don't think you said it in your video. But did your wife have a good time or no? Did she enjoy it?
she did, but it's one of those things where she has no history with the series.
Okay.
The only history she has is seeing me play them. So while she enjoyed the music and she enjoyed it because I enjoyed it, it wasn't like she had no nostalgia with it. But she
I
likes
get it.
she likes going to these types of events like Comic Cons and things like that with me because it's like a whole new world for her. Like it blew her mind that people were like there was a guy there in a Kefka outfit, there was a guy there in a Yuna outfit. And of course she had no idea who these people were, but just that people were dressing up in these costumes and like people were walking around like the girl in the Yuna outfit on her back, she had like Atma and or not Atma, she had Anima and like a Moogle and other stuff tattooed on her back, like Final Fantasy stuff tattooed all over. And I mean, when I say she was tattooed, instantly you get this view of a not good-looking woman, but she was friggin' gorgeous. Um, Final Fantasy stuff all over, and she likes that kind of stuff because it's a new world to her. And yeah, so she had a good time. Yeah, she
That's
enjoyed it.
good. As long as she enjoyed the music, had a good time, it's awesome. Which you mentioned Comic Con in front of it. Should we mention maybe something about in 6 months maybe yet where we possibly could be or
Well, we
no?
can go ahead. Yeah, we can go ahead and mention it, but I mean,
Just we'll yeah
it's
we'll
not
end it
set in
with
stone.
this. Yeah, it's not officially set in stone yet. Which but hopefully we both plan on attending PAX East. I think it's in 6 months. I mean, there's no dates
Yeah.
or nothing set yet for it or anything. But yeah, I already got the go ahead from my boss, my wife. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
definitely going to be going. It's just a matter of trying to save up enough to actually buy stuff while I'm there and enjoy myself.
yeah. I think it's gonna be fun because we're planning on taking the train.
Oh yes, me and we're not taking the same train, but I'm gonna go by train and hopefully try to meet up with Dustin. And you're going with a group of guys, right? Or you know
Yeah.
how many could be coming with you?
It's like 4 or 5.
Oh dang, that's gonna be a cheap hotel room.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
But
So
hopefully get up there, go by train, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't
yeah,
wait.
I'm
Even though I
looking forward
just
to it.
watched Nick's video about how his
Yeah.
experience was,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Got to
It'll be a
try
good
it
time.
one time.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So
So yeah,
well,
and
anyway, I think I'm starting to peter out like most people joked about in the last podcast. I don't know if you
that
heard
was
me.
so funny. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know if
That
you
was
heard me
so
crunching on stuff or not, but I've been eating chocolate covered espresso beans to try to.
to stay awake.
Yeah, because my wake up call, not this weekend because I'm off, but usually my wake up call is 4 a.m. So I'm usually dead by now.
Yeah, it's 11:30 our time. I got a 16-hour day tomorrow, but I'm doing this for the listeners and for myself. I didn't get to talk to Dustin in a while, so this was
I
fun
know.
being able to talk to Dustin again. It's been so busy. But anyways, I guess I'll let you close the show this time since
Oh,
you ruined my exit last time. So
I
you
ruined your
can close
exit last
us
time.
off. Yes,
I don't know how to close this thing. I'm terrible at closing things.
we could just say bye.
I guess we could just say bye. Hopefully
Bye.
next time we're gonna try to get somebody else on here so you guys will have somebody else to talk to. We got a laundry list of people that want to be on, but
Yeah, we got people who sent us messages. Return to Mother Base, Undead Space Monkey. I mean, Balla Nick, he still wants to get on here. We got people who are more than welcome to come on. We just gotta schedule some stuff,
yeah.
and we'll see if we get who the next guest will be or who we can get on here.
Who's going to be
Jonathan,
our mystery date?
we'll see, or if we'll get rejected again.
Yeah.
We'll see. No, I know everyone who's tried to get on here. You guys are awesome. It stinks that schedules keep working out and stuff. So
That's lame.
it's okay.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We're going to try to do these a little bit more often so we can keep putting this wonderful content out and you can hear us ramble on about stuff. Hopefully, we'll have another episode out for you guys here in a couple weeks. If not, maybe I'll just post the Road Not Taken episode.
Ooh, the road not to I forgot about that one. That might need some editing, but
Nah, I mean, it's just raw conversation. It's not like we're actually trying to record a podcast.
true.
I'll just edit off a little bit of the front and just put the intro music on it. So, God damn it,
Anyways,
you ruined the ending again.
I had to put it out there.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.